All right, the other stream crashed. I'm going to read everything quickly, okay? If you don't master ninja resilience, you're never getting laid from day game. So, how to MGTOW proof your mindsets and build ninja level mental endurance? Are you going to let the economy, the tariff, and all the chaos turn you into a quitter? Or are you going to level up your mindsets and become unbreakable? This is survival season. So if you want to make it through 2025, you need more tactics. You need more than tactics. You need ninja resilience. So back when the pandemic hit, things weren't even that tough. Money wasn't tight. People didn't have that much cortisol stress. The winner loser effect wasn't crushing people. So the new one up here. Why am I looking downwards like that? Okay. Yes. All right. I'm gonna start sending this to the other groups quickly. This is a new one. The other one crashed. All right. All right. So the winner loser effect wasn't crushing people. The more you win, the more testosterone you get. The more you lose, the more cortisol you get. Yeah, make sure that everything's like good. But now, 2023 to 2024 is a different beast. Interest rates are sky high. Inflation is squeezing everyone. And now with the tariff, people are worried about the economy is about to crash. Everyone's hoarding their money and living in fear. And guess what? I'm still the only one getting real day game laid testimonials over and over, even at the peak of all this stress. If you don't have ninja level resilience, you're going to get wiped out. You can't just coast on old mindsets. You need a new set of mental tools. You need a you need the survival mindset of the IDF. You need mental toughness of a Navy SEAL. Most guys right now are emotionally weak. They're fragile. They can't even stick to basic drills. And so, how do you fix this? How do you build the kind of resilience that when everyone else is quitting? Well, here's the Navy SEALs mindset playbook for this 5-day challenge. Number one, goal setting. Win the next battle, not the whole war. Don't try to do everything at once. Set your big goals, but break it down into medium goals and into even smaller goals, into micro goals. It can be like as small as your next rep for your workout, the next drill, or even the next minute, or even the next hour, the next day. Being fully in the moment stabilizes your mind and keeps you moving forward, no matter how overwhelming things get. Number two, control your positive self talk. The voice in your head is either your worst enemy or your best ally. Low self esteem will destroy you from inside out. You need to consciously practice positive self talk. Catch yourself when you're spiraling and replace it with, I can do this. One more drill, one more approach. So, what's number three? You got to visualize to win. You must constantly visualize success, not just in day game, but in everything. You see yourself nailing the drills and getting the outcome over and over. It might sound like work, but this is how you program your brain to expect victory. Number four, arousal and stress control, box breathing. You need to learn how to control your stress and arousal in the moment. Navy SEALs use something called box breathing. It's a simple breathing technique. Inhale 4 seconds, hold four, exhale for four, hold for four, and you repeat. This calms your nervous system down. It helps you reset and keeps your mind sharp under pressure. These are the four Navy SEALs mindset tenets for this challenge. We'll go into details on how each of them, like how they all work. So if you want to survive this round of tariff, which is just right now happening, if you want to get laid in the hardest economy in decades, you need to stop making excuses and start building mental resilience today, ninja mindsets or ninja inner game. This is your wake up call. So are you going to adapt and survive, or are you going to join the army of emotionally fragile, far left, crashing out like Latinos with alexithymia and emotional blindness? Give a thumbs up, right, for the algorithm for a new video. I'm going faster this time. Your move. So let's talk about the first category, goal setting. A lot of you guys don't set goals. If you don't set goals, you don't have a direction to go in for day game. Your brain needs direction or you'll drift and get overwhelmed. When you stack your goals together, everything becomes easier. For example, my immediate goal was when I was writing the script, was just to get through it. That was an immediate short-term goal. Then I started the second one, writing the next part. The next, another, fuck, another immediate goal. Sometimes the next goal is even more basic, like getting through the rest, like getting enough rest before I start, or grabbing something healthy to drink with vitamins and minerals. But you also need to think about the long-term goals. Like how many students can I get by the end of this 5-day challenge? Or if I keep doing future challenges, how many people will get laid this year? You need to start thinking in layers. Does that make sense? Because everything fits together. Long-term goals, medium, short, micro goals. You need to stack every single type of goal together. If you don't stack them together, your mind will start to bench out. You'll lose your mind. That is one big secret. So short term, medium term, long term, even years. Like when you do this, your brain becomes less stressed. If you only focus on what is stressful today, you'll get triggered and you get stuck. So a lot of my students struggle with time management, especially Latinos. I'm trying to teach one of them to do his homework. Obviously, he's not going to start because he's Latino, right? He's just like going to make more excuses. Oh, I don't get how to do the homework assignment. So I'm going to see if he actually started. So you can see why it's very important. So have you started your homework assignment? It looks like you did not actually listen to my audio. Of course, it's like, you know, this is what happens when you're a little bit overweight and lazy. And, hopefully this does not freeze. This thing does not look like it's animating very fast. So do you enjoy approaching or is it unenjoyable? I enjoy it. Thumbs up. I may not be on for the whole life. All right, let's continue. So right now, several students are learning this. So there's no way to manage your life, but it starts with setting goals. If you don't get things under control, you always feel busy. Your brain's RAM will be completely occupied by all the stuff in your life. Take Latino students, for example. I mean, that just fucking happened. They work hard at their jobs, but when it comes to learning a second set of skills, something that they don't enjoy, for example, because of severe ADHD and hyperfocus, they won't just do it. They don't even set goals for these things. So if you get too overwhelmed and you stop setting goals altogether, so here's my best advice, right? Get a notepad, right? Here's a notepad I have over here. And I want to make this into a field manual because I can use this into my other course, Elite Focus for Day Gamers. So yeah, so for example, let's just say this is a pad of paper or something, okay? We can say what's the 1 minute goals, right? Minute goals. 1 hour goals. Get it? 3, like days. Number 4. So I'm just writing all it down. Can't really see it, but it's just 1 minute goals, hour goals, 1 day, maybe 1 week. And number 5, like a month. And then number 6, right? Maybe years or a year. And then number 7, years. Okay. So can't really see it, but it's all written here. So what would I say for the minute goals, right? This is how you do it. We'll stay logged in. Okay, thank you for staying. So how will you deal with that 1 minute goal? Maybe the 1 minute goal is to finish like showing or demonstrating how to write goals, right? So that's the current minute. So you guys can see that you need some kind of paper, maybe you write on your phone, right? Some kind of notepad on your phone. Number 2, what's the hour goal? So maybe I try to like get through this, right? Less than 3 hours. what are the 3-day or multiple day goals? Maybe like finish the 5-day challenge. 5-day challenge. Get it? So this is how you do it. I just want to show you how to do it. And then 1 week. What's the week goal, right? Get launch. Like a 10-day launch, right? 10-day launch. And also like a month, right? Try to get like a few students. And what's a year, right? Try to get past like 700 laid in pull testimonials. And for a few years, try to get past 1,000. Because you set everything up, right? All your goals are written down, right? My brain is no longer as stressed. It's a psychology thing. If your brain has everything layered step by step, you no longer will bench hold and lose your fucking mind. Does that make sense? You got to layer your goals. So if we had a contest, whatever, all the PUAs in UMP, who you think will pull the most? I think I'll be in the top 4. I don't even think like they'll get any like results unless it's like 3 out of 10. Most of white dating coaches, I don't even think nothing will happen. So that's what I think. I don't even think white dating coaches would be nothing. I might be in the top 4 or top 5 in the whole world if I Kaizen and drill everything down. I'll beat everybody really, really fucking badly over and over. But then when I stop practicing the drills, my 5'7" height, and I start losing a little bit of skills, then I'll get knocked out. That's what I think will happen. But if it's like me versus Todd V or any other coach, even like tall self-proclaimed coaches or whatever, UMP, like think about it this way. My student got 150 lays and he joins the fucking UMP. Right? Fuck that company. In reality, like my student is even better than them. So it was my fucking skills. But yeah, we should have, if we have a world competition, I would slaughter white dating coaches. I'll eat their heart out of their fucking chest. It'll be scary good. You're going to think I'm some kind of like machine or something because everything will be perfect with all the drills. But I think that would be a good motivation. It's like Bitcoin, right? If I was a Satoshi, right, in writing the papers, we should always have a point system. If we're minorities, we have more points to start with because white people have more. You cannot use alcohol. You cannot use steroids. You cannot use the Instagram pictures or something like that. It has to be purely just WhatsApp and texting. We can wear elevator shoes. We can wear fashion, whatever. But there is no like, but you see that white dating coaches cannot same day lay. We should be like in 1 week, right? We flip a coin to see which side to go on a street. Let's say we're in New York. Is it this side or that side? And then we can pick whatever woman on that street or the other street. If we had to make a competition, I'll end up number 5 or something. Because even with hundreds of PUAs, I'm never gonna be like number 1 to 3. I'm not gonna be that. I'm only 5'7". So who's gonna be number 1? I don't know. But if there's no alcohol and there's no Instagram, a lot of dating coaches are gonna be stuck or no steroids. But I think that's as far as I can get. Number 5, at least in the top 10 in the whole world. But not like number 1 to 3. I don't have the genetics to be number 1 to the top 3. Right? My Pakistani mentor would be number 1 in the whole world, but he's not a dating coach. He'll fucking kill everybody. Like even me, like I tried to compete against him. I lost. He stole my women. Like, yeah, he stole this blonde chick from me. And he doesn't even remember. And she was crazy. She completely sabotaged his party. But yeah, if I have to practice, I will Kaizen the shit out of the training so much. I will completely 100% only focus on drills and do less approaches until everything's perfect. Everything's recorded, everything in the mirror. It'll be so perfect. It'll just be collecting the lays. I have to, like, even after the competitions, like every single day, before I sleep, I have to practice again for hours in front of a mirror. I'll need a recording device and a mirror, like a tall one. So it's not so much for me, right? If I don't practice the drills, I won't get any results. I'll just SMV. I'm too dog shit SMV as a Chinese guy. If I don't practice in front of the mirror, right, and record it, I'll get fucking knocked out every single time. If I practice in front of the mirror, then the world bends to my will. I hope that makes sense. I know it sounds really fucked. Like I don't want to do all this fucking drills, John. But listen, I'm only 5'7". My aeroscience will beat anybody. Maneuver, sexualized objection looping. They'll fuck up UMP badly. Any other people, easily. But yeah, that's my limitations. But we're getting off topic here. So So my advice to people is don't join PLA group. Yeah, don't do it. So you challenge someone in a dating game. I want to challenge Todd V. I don't want to challenge people, but if I challenge one, I want to challenge Todd V one-on-one. We're both like, he started game in 2000. I started 2001. This would be like the best challenge. We're roughly around the same height, and we roughly like have similar looks level, but he's white, so he has a 10 out of 10 perceived natural status. I will slaughter him. I'll get like fucking 4 same-day lays in a row. He won't even be able to get a lay at all. So actually, here's the truth, okay? If you have a competition, right, and you have to get a same-day lay, a white dating coach, you're gonna see, like, for all of them, they will not be able to get a same-day lay. They never could. They could only go in a cab at UMP. They only end up in a cab at nighttime at Las Vegas. So fuck UMP or UFO. I'm not impressed. They can't do it. They never demonstrate they can same-day lay. White people, tall self-proclaimed coaches, they go in the cab. So, but yeah, I mean, if we were to have a worldwide competition like Olympics, I think that would be cool. But we should have a different point system. And also no steroids, no alcohol, no Instagram. Yeah, so it has to be fair. And it'll be kind of cool, right? I don't care about challenging like one dating coach, but I think if we challenge everyone in the world, right? Like, and I had to train every single day, I'll be training for like fucking every fucking minute I'm awake, right? I'll be doing drills until everything's perfect. I'll be like most lethal motherfucker, the scariest motherfucker you ever seen. You'd be like, shit, John is really like, he's literally the best. But I won't be in the top, like, I might be only like number 6, maybe 4 at most, but I'll be somewhere around probably 6, 7, like that in the whole world. But if it's just a same day late competition, white dating coaches, they won't be able to do it. They're all fraudsters because they don't have any social skills. They'll bang like a 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 eventually, mass approaching, and that's about it. White people can only get number of closes and multiple dates and flaky numbers and women below their looks level. That's why you never see a white dating coach do a same day late. All right, so is there any way you can make it happen and challenge other coaches? Maybe we should get every coach involved, right? As an idea, like Satoshi, right? Here's the Bitcoin. I don't care just for challenging. I don't even want to challenge Todd V. But if we were to challenge other coaches, I would say definitely like let's get every single one. But white people, they have to start with less points. Minorities get to start with more points. And no Instagram, no steroids. We all have to take a steroid test. No cheating. No alcohol. And let's see if they can close. I really think that white people, they all gonna be number of closes. And you see the people, right, that are like Coach Kyle and all these other people, they're gonna suck dick. Charisma King, all these people are gonna be the worst day gamers in the world. They're gonna get fucking slaughtered. The taller guys are gonna have some advantage, but they only go over to like Asian countries and stuff to do it, like Thailand or Indonesia or Philippines. When they come to the States and stuff, they're gonna get fucking slaughtered. The people from the UK are gonna get slaughtered because they have no skills. They're gonna play a huge numbers game. It's gonna be nonstop rejections, and you see who's the best and who's not. Like I said, I'm only gonna end up number 4 and number 6, 4 or number 7. I'm never gonna end up number 1, 2, or 3. If I get my Pakistani mentor involved, he'll kill all of us online. He's a natural with the hottest women ever. We wouldn't stand a chance. We'll all be killed because we'll all be like zombies compared to him. Most pickup artists and dating coaches are zombies. That's why they're all marketers. They're all sociopaths. And they never had social intelligence. That's why their stuff don't work. But drills is the only reason why like I can even compete. If I don't do drills, here's the truth, guys. If Johnny Lee does not do drills and he just goes out there and starts using push pulls and DHV stories, Johnny Lee is too fucking short with low SMV. He'll get fucking killed out there. But if Johnny Lee does the drills, social skills, flow drill, emotional control, whitewash tonality, and body language, John will kill everybody like John Wick. But there will still be like people above him that are taller, that are above 5'9" with bigger muscles. Because I cannot grow. Actually, this year I'm growing muscles, right? So that's different. I don't know why I'm so. I still got a little bit man boobs, but I'm way bigger. I don't know how I'm doing it. But in the past, I never had muscle, so I had to use fashion and stuff. But we're getting off topic. But yeah, we should one day like have like a worldwide competition, like Olympics. But I only want to challenge Todd V. So I don't care about anybody else. I don't fucking care about challenging. They're not even worth it on my radar. I don't care about challenging a bunch of sociopaths. Anyways, let's continue. So, uh, but why does it matter to you so much? That's the thing. All right. So, do you see that? We're off topic. So I have to basically, yeah. But I'd rather have students and get more like testimonials. This is just a distraction because you're a sheep. You want to worship before you listen. So, anyways, so like I said, 1 minute goals, 1 hour goals, couple of day goals, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. So you write it down. Now I'm less stressed, right? Because I just have to get to the next minute, then the next hour until I get this done. So even Mr. D, right? About the solo thing, I agree, but um try this one, right? Write down all your goals, stack them, right? So when they're all stacked together, your brain no longer stresses out. Timing, everything works itself out. It turns off the stress. I don't know how it works, but there's a scientific studies for this kind of stuff. Navy SEALs use it. They use psychologists and try to figure this stuff out. So now that everything's stacked, right? So I did the first homework assignment. Now I just have to focus on getting through the next minute, next hour. Okay. So that's number one. It's just as simple as getting through the 5 day challenge. I have a 21-year-old Latino student who only sent me like 1 or 2 drills today. Right? He has to do 5. That's not setting up the goals and following through. People don't have a good memory, so you need a system. So how do you time manage, right? To get shit done. So this is something I call ABCDE, okay? So Mr. D, I really want you to start using this for ED access. So what's ABCDE? Another Latino, as you saw earlier, did not actually do any homework. So how is it done? It gets the next piece of paper. So A is the most important task. Right here, A. Hopefully you can see it. A. So I'm gonna write A, B, right? C, D, E, right? So I'm giving you guys how to manage your time because it's very important that you set goals and manage your time. So A task is the most important. Finish 5-day challenge. This is A1. A1. 5-day challenge finish, right? You got it? So that's my most important task right now. B means it's less important, right? Maybe like come up with 10-day launch after 5-day challenge. Or maybe for C task, right? It's less important. So for C task, maybe like censor faces, lay testimonials, right? For the launch or whatever. D is delegate, right? So right now, I don't hire people from the Philippines or India or Pakistan anymore because they're unreliable. So maybe just use ChatGPT and delegate to come up with like maybe future ideas for videos, right? Like future topics, right? Maybe delegate to ChatGPT. Right, the videos after the 5-day challenge and 10-day launch. And then E, right? What I thought was important, maybe watching the news. It's not important, it's a waste of time. Or maybe drinking might be your like D, right? Mr. D. Maybe you can move like drinking like from C all the way to E, right? It's not important anymore. I thought it was important, but it's not. So this is a time management system. I use it all the time. So I always have a list of things I need to do, and I always prioritize it. Does it make sense? So exactly, prioritization, right? Prioritize and execute. Just like Navy SEALs, right? Even though I'm not a big fan, they always have a system called prioritize and execute. If you try to do too many things at once, right? Then it's almost like it's like a cake. I'm not sure if you can draw a big circle for a cake, right? Maybe I should get my whiteboard in the background, right? In the future, so we can like use it in the back there. And then I can stand up and walk next to it because on the back there, I clean up the sewer rat. I clean up all that stuff, right? I use a wet vacuum. So I can step back there. It's not going to be unsafe. But let's say I'm drawing a big circle. I'm not sure you can see it. But imagine a circle. You have two different tasks, right? I'm drawing a circle here. So this is what it looks like if you see it. There's a circle here in the middle. If there's two tasks, now your attention is split in half. If you like split even further, four tasks, right? You see that? You can never focus. You split even further, right? All these tasks. But because you're only doing one at a time, A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, does that make sense, guys? C1, C2, C3, and delegate the rest. Because you're doing that, you're no longer stressed out because it's no longer just a big pie with a bunch of slices. You erase all that. It's just one big pie. So only one piece, one focus, prioritize and execute. So, but you have to write it down. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to plan. Your brain will stress itself out. It will start to bancho. Okay? So that's what I use. I didn't invent this. A guy called Brian Tracy invented the ABCDE system. There are other systems, but I'm trying to get my other Latino student to use it. But he refuses to even use it or even listen to my explanation on the audio. So A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, B1, B2, B3, B4. But you never ever do a A2 task without doing A1. You never do an A3 without A2. Does that make sense, guys? But you only focus on that one task at a time. Prioritize and execute, right? Only one thing. Everything else is just a waste of time. So B tasks are less important. C tasks are not that important. It's all about consequences. If you want it for business, right, to improve your job, you think about what makes you the most money, what moves the needle forward. And if you're thinking about for Daygame, then you start writing down different prioritizations. Hope that makes sense. So go in order. C tasks are for later, not important. D tasks are things to delegate. If you can delegate to the coworkers, that would be great. If you can delegate to virtual assistants that like hire people from the Philippines, they can save you a lot of money. Meal planning, finding clients, all that other stuff, right? So maybe use AI or something, right? Have AI coworkers help your business. Don't try to do everything yourself. It's too much. So I have to do a lot myself, but I still delegate, at least to ChatGPT, like come up some video ideas, right? What kind of thumbnail should I use for a video? So a lot of people I've hired, even virtual assistants, don't do anything, especially the Filipinos, right? You know the Filipinos, they're always going to stab you in the fucking back. Filipinos, they can't be a Filipino without stabbing you in the back because they're all sociopathic. I don't want to generalize that every one of them is sociopathic, but I'm not saying the entire population is sociopathic. That's stereotyping. But I'm saying that every single Filipino I've met that are day gamers, like in that region, or even like I work with in work, every single one of them are like backstabbers. And it's also part of the culture. It's like a vice. You can actually Google search this stuff because they're Catholics, but they're also hostile. So they feel guilty when they do it, but they do it all the time. It's very common. So, but yeah, that's something I want to say. That's why I stopped working with Filipinos. Because one guy took like a bunch of my money as a virtual assistant. He stole like thousands of dollars and he didn't do any work. And I heard that was actually fucking common. Even the other guy who's half white, half Latino, right? The worst student of the year. He also is hiring Filipinos and they're always stabbing him in the back too. I thought it was just like me. No, they just take the people's money and they do next to nothing. They're like zombies. So I hope the AI takes over all their jobs. No, he did not create the 7 habits of highly effective people. That was like a guy called Covey, something Covey, I forgot. So Covey made 7 habits of highly effective people. Brian Tracy made the ABCDE method. He called it eat the frog. If you have to get through a task, you eat the frog first, right? It's the grossest thing to eat a frog, right? But if you eat the frog first and you deal with A1 first, then you get more things done. Prioritize and execute. All right. So next thing is that, as I'm saying, e-task, right? You thought it was important, but it's not really important. Like watching the news. I watch a lot of Fox News, but it's not important. So it should be like something I put into watch later. If I want to watch a video, I should just put on watch later on the, for example, let's just say I go open my phone, right? Okay. My my flip phone over here, right? I broke the cover, right? So I saw a Fox News video I wanted to watch. So let's see what happens. So, Fox News. Okay. So from here, let's say hypothetically, I watched. mm, okay, so this is my prediction, right? That Israel will take over Gaza, and it's starting to happen. I started touching 50. Okay, another ad. Great. So let's just hear it over here. For our audience, you're trying to understand. You're in drugs. I said that was this person give forms of it means not you should know. You also get this out. Don't you know now? Just gets this part of genocide installation. She's going to push it down. So it's all drug transfer Gaza. She was taking she time 2 years ago. Started just to play. Here now, Prime Minister has been to that now on all those topics. And Prime Minister, thank you very much. So good, thank you. So we will go immediately into a meeting together. So we'll take roll call. So it's well, resource doing people lost it. It does. Excuse me, go so the funds lost. They left it. So he's basically saying they're going to expand their borders, exactly what I predicted. But Latinos on those forum groups are laughing at me. They're like, ha ha ha, John made predictions. Ah, he thinks he's psychic. But I did make these predictions in the community section because they're far left, right? They have no morals. They don't believe in spirituality. They crash out all day, right? That's just like the far left lunatics. So in this video, right, what do I do? Let's say, for example, I don't have time to watch it. So how do I make this an e-task? Give it a thumbs up for this. So there's an option that says save over here, okay? So I click on save, and on the very top, it has a folder called watch later. And I put done. Now it's on the very bottom of watch later. So on my free time, when I've done all the tasks, A1, A2, A3, I can come back and watch the videos if I want to. Does that make sense? You all should do the same thing. Unless you're listening to my content, other PUA shit, you should just put watch later because they don't get students late. Right? They don't. So fuck their opinion. So if that's the case, then you can watch later. You can unsubscribe to a lot of stupid channels out there. Red pill shit, black pill shit. Why listen to that MGTOW shit? Unsubscribe. So that's how you manage that one. Make sense? So that's the E task. And anything else you thought was like urgent, but it really isn't, move it to the E. Get your priorities right. This is how I do it. These are the most complicated methods, but there are more complicated methods. Like you're talking about 7 habits of highly effective people. But let's not get into that. It's too complicated. So this is something everyone can do. A, B, C, D, E. Free up some time in your life so you have more time to approach or even do the drills. Lots of people, they can't do it, especially Latinos, because all the RAM is occupied from their job. They work really hard. They can't do a second thing. It's always an excuse. Oh, I gotta focus on my job. Oh, no, it's my job. Make some fucking time. Latinos, remember, I'm not calling all Latinos lazy. I'm just saying, like the whole general population. I'm not generalizing. They do work very hard. But I'm just saying the pickup artists, the day gamers, when they had to do a second task, they are fucking lazy as shit. So many goals, all sorts are good. Okay, make sure you have a long-term goal, medium, and really short-term. Grab a planner, use the phone, right? Planner. Find a system that works for you. It's easier said than done. You might listen to this and pump your state and feel good about it. But while you think that's important, because you can drift for years, right? Especially during the inflation, right? And people can drift for years, turn MGTOW, and do absolutely nothing. They can listen to my advice and turn MGTOW. And that's going to affect your inner game. So you won't be able to approach unless you free up some time. You can't occupy all the RAM in your computer. So it's going to slow down the computer. So the second category is called positive self-talk, right? How you do positive self-talk, right? A lot of students are unteachable cases or even impossible cases because they have some kind of borderline personality. They're very emotional and they're always crashing out. Okay, so speaking of that, let me check another student, right? Um, Let's see.
Congratulations. I can you will what is going on. You will never forget what is going on in the world.
Oh, monotone.
Anything but in tribes. Yes, it would be wrong to ask for these terms. You a female.
Yeah, this is absolutely awful, right? This is awful because the higher notes is almost like it doesn't even recognize it's a higher note. It just goes right to monotone. But it's getting even worse. It's complete monotone. It's not just a little bit up. So how do you hit a higher note, right? When you have a monotone voice and depressed. So imagine your throat, right? It's like on the bottom of the chin. It's like a rabbit. It's like a frog, right? Okay. It'll go downwards when you hit a higher note, like, oh, speaking of, this thing moved down. So I would just point a finger underneath your chin, right? If it moves downwards and it's pushing downwards, then you're straining your voice. A lot of people that sing and stuff, if they try to hit a high note and they'll push that downwards, they'll destroy their voice box. You try to relax the throat area. If it doesn't move, then you can hit the higher notes. But you haven't even attempted to hit a higher note. This is awful. This is like, at least you've done the drill for today. That's good, right? You're not banned. But yes, you know it's monotone, right? But you have to be able to at least try to hit the notes. Another thing is that you might have to write down the timestamps. When do you think is the higher notes? I wonder if you can hear it. Maybe you know it, and maybe you're ADHD, right? You have mental blinking, and you will not get this instruction right away. You have to recognize where are the higher notes. It's like a Bitcoin chart, right? Or a stock market. What goes up, right? How far does it go up? That just teaching other students. Sure. Let me look at homework. Keep doing the box breathing exercises, right? Every single hour, right? So he's doing box breathing now for the other Chinese 3MP, right? Finish your dinner, but make sure you just keep going every single hour because you have very small lungs. Okay. I'm still teaching. All right. Let's continue. So a lot of students are unteachable cases or even impossible cases because they have some kind of borderline personality and they're very emotional. They always have this, they don't have a positive self-talk, right? So they always have a negative self-talk. They beat themselves up whenever they see other students getting laid or they don't trust themselves. They always talk down to themselves because of the 4 traits of low self-esteem. There's like 4 bullies attacking them. Low self-esteem, half-assing it because that's not really getting things done. That's not resilient. Then the wrong path to sociopath and blows up in your face in 4 months. Your decisions will fail you. That's number 3. And number 4 is quitting. So if these things are attacking you, you're not going to have a positive self-talk. Your left brain is going to cock block you because you may think that you're right. A lot of Latinos we talked about in the very first day challenge near the end, when you have opinions as facts and you really strongly feel like you are right, you are letting a zombie fool you and you're doubling down on it. So for positive self-talk, a lot of these guys, right, they beat themselves up, they feel very bad. So this is one exercise you can do, right? When you watch this, right, again, you can take more notes, but I'm giving you a field manual. You could turn this into a PDF, right? This entire thing as a course or a video course. But I'm gonna give you something useful. Okay. I might add it for Elite Daygame for steps. So this is what you do, right? So how do you fix a lot of negative self-talk? So we're going to do something called the gratitude exercise. So you get another piece of paper, okay? And I know there's only 2 people on here, but let me put a link so other people can see this video, okay? Last time I tried to put a link in there, it did not work. Let's see here. All right. All right, now I put a link over there, right? Now it's finally working. So, all right, let's continue. So basically, how do you feel gratitude, right? Because there's the emotional balance scale. And you're like, really? So let me take a look. Emotional balance scale. Okay, I think maybe this chart's good. I wonder if I can make it bigger. I can't. But what's inside here? So there's a chart here. You can see there's a spiral that goes up for emotions here, and then it goes downwards for like negative emotions. Does that make sense? So what are the negative emotions and what are the positive ones? If we were to zoom it in, right, for positive emotions, it's kind of like a spiral upwards. You see, I can zoom it further. What's on top? Joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation, right? But that's just another word for gratitude. So, but what's on the bottom? Okay. Whenever a student, that's why I tell them to take St. John's wort. This is the worst emotion is down here. The worst emotion is fear, depression, powerless, victim. So if you ever get to that powerless, fear, or depression, you're fucked. There's only one person here, right? So I'm teaching some super important stuff right now, right? That would change your life. You cannot complain about the tariff or economy problems if you actually fix it over here. I can't believe people are not appreciating this. They only have 2 likes. I'm basically giving you guys the tools, what it's like to train with me, but they just don't care. But that's okay. See, normally that would make my emotions feel more negative, right? Does that make sense? I would probably get quite angry and think like, oh, these people are not very appreciative. That's what I'll think. I was like, well, these are ungrateful people. But that's not the right way to think about things. Another link. All right. At least this will go to Facebook. I kind of have to. The other video crashed. Hmm. I have an idea. Why don't I put this link into different places too? Then that way they can have it. Then they can watch it. That's a good idea. Yeah, yeah. That's definitely would be a great idea. I like this idea. Okay. And then copy and paste. Do the same thing for the other one. Yeah. Now they have videos. Maybe we'll get more people watching because it's very important what I'm going to talk about. This is not some fluffy bullshit, right? Like literally, this is the fastest way to make a fuck ton of money. Actually, this is thank you for listening. This is actually a secret, okay? If you want to make a lot of money and you want to manifest, I'm gonna give away a big secret, okay? I don't teach people this. If you have a list of things you're grateful for, you can reset your emotions. This is how you make a fuck ton of money if you want. Because if you have negative emotions, right? And let's say I feel a little bit icky, right? Because the tariff just happened, people are not spending as much, and I'm afraid, right? Then what I have to do is to have a piece of paper here and write down everything I'm grateful for. So I'm grateful for my audience. Right now, let's say I don't feel so good. Let's say I feel a little tiny bit depressed. So that puts me in the very bottom of this emotional spiral chart. And when I talk about emotions to pick up artists, they think they don't know what I'm talking about. What's emotions, John? Is it like this? Is like no, they get triggered. So here's emotional chart. Up here, gratitude, joy. Over here, depression. So what's this second worst? Insecurity, unworthiness, jealousy. Lots of people are jealous. Haters are always jealous of me. Rage, hatred, revenge, anger, discouragement, right? It goes upwards. Blame, worry, doubt, disappointment, overwhelm. It sounds like my haters. Frustration, impatience, pessimism, boredom, right? These are not good emotions. And it goes upwards, right? Contentment, hopefulness, optimism, positive expectations, enthusiasm, passion. And the last one, joy, knowledge, and power. That's gratitude. Does that make sense? So it has a whole fucking scale, up to down, for emotions. So how you unfuck your emotions? I make my students do this. For the students that are very depressed, I make them send me like a gratitude. So we'll quickly write it. I'm grateful for the few people that are joining here. I'm grateful. Audience. 3 people watching. Right? I'm grateful for all video testimonials. What else am I grateful for? I'm grateful for my watches, because I have some nice watches over here. It helps me manifest. Here's a nice Rolex, a Yacht Master. What else am I grateful for? I'm grateful I'm still healthy. I may have gained some weight. I'm not sure if I gained some weight, but I do look bulkier than before. I'm not sure if it's body fat because I'm 173 pounds or 172. That's pretty fucking heavy. But at the same time, I got way more, like, I'm more muscular, but also there might be some body fat. But like here, like, I look like a fucking Ninja Turtle Asian masculinity movement guy. I haven't even worked out, but I'm grateful that I'm still healthy, right? Does that make sense? So you have to keep writing. Right now, I don't feel that much better, but then I'm grateful. Like, I'm grateful I have enough money to retire. That's good, right? Um, I'm grateful I still have my hair, even at my age, right? I could be losing all of it. I'm grateful. Hair, right? I'm grateful for the I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful for the internet so I can communicate. So that's already up to here. You see that? I only wrote up to here. So, but there's still a lot to go. You got to write the entire page. So I'm showing you guys how to do the homework. So how about you guys? You want to write in the comment section, what are you grateful for? Because sometimes you don't count your blessings. Lots of people around the world don't even have like an internet or running water that's clean. They can't even take a shower. Like, what are you grateful for? So, can shower. Grateful for I have like $100 worth of steaks. Had to cut them myself. I'm grateful for steak dinner. So now I'm filling up like nearly half. Grateful for my phone because I can teach students elite access. Make sense? I'm grateful for my 3MP student. It's a 5K course, right? I get to really teach them like longer than you guys for 10 minutes. I teach other people, I teach them for hours. I'm grateful for my books, my knowledge. You see that? So this is already half of it filled right here. See that? Roughly. And there's this much left. And all you have to do is fill the entire page. And then at the end of it, you'll feel more gratitude and your manifestation starts to release a little bit. Does that make sense? I'm grateful. Elite bundle resurrections works, right? Late testimonials this year. So yeah, the people that upgrade to Elite Tonality Mastery for Elite Bundle Resurrections, they get laid as long as you do everything, right? I'm very grateful for all my supplements. So this is positive self-talk. But how else do you do positive self-talk? When you're approaching out there and you have approach anxiety, and then you think women don't like you, right? Does that make sense? You think like, oh no, she probably has a boyfriend, or I'm Latino, right? And I'm probably too unattractive or too fat or something. But that's a negative self-talk. So you have to catch that. And this is what my Indian students do. They have to write down like every negative thought that pops up. There's a lot, but you want to erase that and have positive self-talk. If there's a negative self-talk, add like 2 positive self-talk. You know, she likes me because I'm Latino. She likes me because I'm confident. So you got 1 bad thought and you got 2 good thoughts. Make sense? I'm grateful you are not high ADHD. Yeah, exactly. So does that make sense? And maybe you might feel down a little bit, right? You might want to just quit everything, right? BC. But instead, you should say, like, I'm grateful that I'm still alive in the world, and I'm still healthy and everything is fine. And you think about the tariff and finding another job. I'm grateful that I still got money in the bank and I can still live off of that, right? Maybe 2 things. I'm grateful that I'm educated. So does that make sense? So you start doing that and your life will start to change, because there's going to be a lot of negative thoughts. Indians have, like, how many negative thoughts? Within the 1 hour, they have over 80. Usually I count it. They have such low self-esteem that it's like a demon that constantly talk negative shit in their life. So it's 80, right? So you need 160 positive thoughts. And you just keep doing that. It's not rocket science. So when you're about there approaching, it's like, oh no, she just rejected me. But like, I got some experience talking with her. I can learn from my mistakes. There's like 2 things. Okay? And you're fine. And then what if you you went on the you almost pulled a woman home and you fucked it up. She didn't go in your door. Instead of like beating yourself up like most unteachable cases or impossible cases. Oh fuck, she didn't go home, and they get bent over backwards, and then they don't practice any more drills and give up. Instead, they should be using positive self-talk, like, oh, I got her all the way outside the door. That's way better than before. That's 1 positive self-talk. Second one, I've learned a lot from this experience. I just need to make this and this changes, like John said, to find out more things about her, be more curious. You get it? You start to think more positively. It's not some delusional thing. It's not some RSD reframing shit. It's more like, why do you have to be negative? Because your thoughts and feelings equals your manifestation. Remember the 5 mindsets. Number 5, your thoughts and feelings is the gravity. It'll bring it to your life. As a man thinketh. So your thoughts actually has energy and it creates your reality. So why have fucked up thoughts? Why have depressed thoughts? That's in the lowest part of the emotional balance scale. Doesn't make any sense. So write the entire page for gratitude. And whenever you have a negative thought, have 2 positive thoughts. You'll feel more positive and you'll be less depressed. So and another thing is that sometimes I have students that have no emotions whatsoever. They're Asperger's, they have no emotions, right? They always say, John, I appreciate this. I appreciate this. But appreciation is not the same as gratitude. When you're grateful, you actually really feel grateful that you're still alive, that I can even talk to this in front of people. Oh, there's a tariff? Guess what? I still got money in the bank. I'm still fine. I can survive. No problem. I can survive for a long, long fucking time. I can even retire. I love what I do. And that makes me feel better. Does that make sense? Positive self-talk, gratitude. Because appreciation is bullshit. Oh, I appreciate that John's helping, but you're not grateful. You appreciate, but you're not gratitude. Gratitude is way up there. Appreciation is just somewhere in the middle. Oh, I appreciate this, right? You don't really appreciate shit. You barely care. So for manifesting, what kind of mindset do I need, right? Positive thinking or no, it's not like that. Thoughts and feelings equals manifestation. I have 666 laid in testimonials. I don't stuff it. I don't just say, oh, one student got 150 lays, right? The UMP instructor for my coaching. Fuck UMP. But it's like, what was I saying with that? Yeah, I don't stuff it. That does not count as 150 testimonials. It doesn't count towards the number. Because several students have over 100 lays. That only counts as like, during that month, he sent me 7 testimonials. I screenshot 7 times. And then the other time when he got like a bunch of lays afterwards, like another 20 lays, that counts as 1 because that's just like everything went to a garbage bag. And then he came back with over 180. That's just another 1. That's like, so he got like 10 to the number for 666. He's only added 10. I don't like to inflate the testimonials, and I want a screenshot of it so that way I can put it there for instances. Hope that makes sense. But I'm very grateful that so many students got laid and nobody else can do it. Like to this degree for my students for Daygame. I don't care about Tinder. I don't care about like positive YouTube comments. I don't care about Tinder. It doesn't count. It's not a lay count. It's a body count. So manifestation. Here's what I think. Your thoughts and your feelings is like gravity. So imagine there's a universal chef. Okay. And he's like, okay, BC, right? This is your meal. Burnt sandwich, right? Yeah, I didn't order grilled cheese sandwich that's burnt. Why you give me a grilled cheese sandwich that's burnt? I want another sandwich, right? And he's like, okay, here's a burnt steak. He's like, dude, universe, I never asked for this. And the universe says this to you. Actually, I look at your thoughts and feelings, BC, and this is exactly what you asked for. You kept bench holding, losing your mind, and crashing out like a far left Latino. And you also start having some negative thoughts, giving up, and really like unhappy with life. So therefore, you get a burnt sandwich. Is it also the same when you see a late testimonials? It's almost manifested. I can almost see it when it's going to happen. My thoughts and feelings align as students start to become good students. And then the women in general, the energy, they start to submit to my students, and I get another late testimonial. Whenever you have like a Latino with really fucking crazy thoughts, you know, one track mind, one step everything. That's Latino fuck behavior, 5 steps. I'm not saying all Latinos are like this. I'm just saying that pickup artists, stuff like that. One track mind. Number 2, wrong path to sociopath. It blows up in their face in 4 months for their decisions. Number 3, crashing out, right? Like a far left Democrat. They probably vote Kamala Harris. Number 4, that's when they quit right after they have a rage. Like when they crash out, they quit. And number 5, they resurrect themselves. They go back after a year, back to Daygame, and they go do the same fucking first step with a crazy harebrained scheme. Because Latinos are like so crazy in their thinking for PUAs, and they have opinions as facts. And they're always getting triggered because of low self-esteem, massive ego, super thin skin. They're only going to manifest dog shit in their life. The chef is like, here's a bowl of soup, right? Called dog shit. They're like, I didn't order that. And they start getting angry at John. Oh, his students are getting late, his Latinos. And then they start attacking me. It's like, okay, I mean, maybe your manifestation is fucked. Change your thoughts, change your feelings. Maybe you should have done it my way. These Latinos should have done it my way instead of crashing out and being lazy. Maybe you might become another late testimonial, but they don't show up. They show up like fucking 12 times. They did 12 drills. Right now, this Indian student has done 3 drills now. 3. Right? He hasn't done many, but as long as he surpassed 12, right, he'll beat the Latino. He's done 3 approaches, 3 drills. Or actually 4 drills now. 4 drills, 3 approaches. Eventually, but that's the thing. Your thoughts and feelings is what, because we're all energy, right? Does that make sense? Atoms, they don't really touch, they're floating. So we're all energy. There's no solid. Nothing is solid. The microphone over here is not solid. None of this stuff is solid. Therefore, because nothing is solid, is energies, your thoughts and feelings. We're just interpreting something that we think is solid in 3D is not. It's kind of floating around. So this energy, then it's gravity. And people have a soul too. when you see them die, right, their spirit actually flies out of their body. They record it on the hospitals and stuff. It's like, boom, right? Just that's what happened to one of my other Middle Eastern students. He actually crashed and he died. And then his body flew out of his, like, spirit flew out of his body. And he's like, what the hell? He starts seeing everything and he gets a life review. He comes back different. They go over every detail of your life. It says only 5% of people make it to heaven. So if that's the case, right, your energy is very important. This is not high vibrational energy, RC shit. I'm just saying that if you have to write down all the things you're grateful for every single day, it will help a lot. It'll help you manifest because this will correct your feelings. It's not your thoughts, it's your feelings that's corrected. The more I write about this, the happier I feel. Right now, I feel like half happy, so I don't feel like as much knots in my stomach, right? And maybe I want to write other things, right, that I'm happy about, what I'm grateful for, you know? Grateful for learning psychology because I have the mental trauma cure. I have a program, mental trauma cure, that clears all your trauma, and it has like it's very successful. Everyone that's completed has gotten over their trauma. One person has not completed all the protocols and ran away. Some Jewish guy. So that's why I cannot claim 100%. But I'm that smart that it's working. So I'm also very like grateful that I'm smart or a genius. And it's not to brag, but I am a genius, obviously. I mean, how come people can't figure out the mental trauma stuff? It takes 2 years, right? And how come people cannot figure out Daygame during this inflation when it's affecting women, giving them more objections? I have to be grateful for that. God given me a wisdom, like King Solomon. You know, I pray for wisdom. I want to learn everything. And yeah, it's helpful. So my students will always get late as long as they follow the path. But yeah, anyways, I was saying, fuck appreciation. And also the emotional balance scale, right? You want to make sure to be on the top. So right now I'm feeling much better. You don't want the depression and fear, right? Because you were there, BC. So that will put you in a negative spiral. So you keep writing all these things you're grateful for. By the time I reach the end, right now I'm just starting to feel happier. It's like a joy that's emulating from my spirit because I feel more grateful. This is a secret method. Of course, besides taking St. John's wort, you should write down like what you're grateful for. There are some students with borderline personality. They're very moody. They're always depressed. And they never get beyond like number 6 or something for the emotional balance scale. What else could I be grateful for? You know? Just thinking. You know, I'm grateful that, for martial art training. Because if I didn't take Krav Maga for 5 years, and it has all the drills and exercises, right? Right now I fill up this much. You see that? That's like 2/3, right? I'm very grateful for Krav Maga because I turned this into a day game system. I turned the Israeli martial arts into a day game system. So I took a military technology for training soldiers and I train my students like it and it works. Jewish technology seems to be very effective. So I'm very grateful. 5 years, I thought I wasted my time, but no, that was my training to be a coach for Daygame. So can you manifest becoming a billionaire? You can, but you have to slowly work your way there. So you have to be comfortable. It's like a thermometer. Okay. So for you, right? You might not have that much money, right? So everyone's comfortable with like a certain amount of money. So for me, I'm very comfortable, mostly around 10K a month. That's how much I made before. So more or less. So roughly 10K a month. If I but here's the thing, if it goes beyond that, like 12K or whatever, or 20K, I'm not talking about having expenses with like Filipino like virtual assistants. There's no like major expenses. So 10K is all profit. That's what I'm comfortable with. That's my number. So times 12, 120K a year. That's my comfort zone. Okay. But whenever it goes below that, it feels like off. Or if it goes way beyond that to the millionaire category, right? Where you have to make like a lot more money, like over like $100,000 a month, I get uncomfortable. My thermostat is not trained for $1 million a year. So it's only trained for 6 figures, but not 7 figures. I hope that makes sense. That's not my comfort zone. But you have to start slowly getting the 6 figures more and more before you can move to the 7 figure, or maybe you can go halfway there, reach a certain number in your bank account. So it's like you have to aim for a smaller planet like the moon first before you aim for the next one, right? Before you aim for this one, before you aim for Mars, get it? Before you aim for Venus, before you aim for all these other things, you have to work your way up there. So for BC, you might have to start small, maybe making this amount of money a year, right? So Latinos have so much expenses. Latinos never have more than $1,500 or $1,000 or $2,000 a month in their bank account for spending. They have to pay the rent and everything else. Latinos don't have any more than 2,000. It's always 2,000 and less. All of them, every single Latino. So it's really hard to manifest if you're Latino. So be grateful to be able to meet your Pakistani mentor and learn from him. That's a good one too, right? I think I should be more grateful, right? Because Pakistani mentor. Because he's so good, right? It skyrocketed the Daygame system. So because he's a natural, I observed what he did. That's where all the social skills, social calibrations, emotional control, like whitewash tonality. He talks like that. Even though he has very dark skin, right? He has that sort of like whitewash tonality. This is where I figure a lot of stuff out. Because I can just look at him, observe him, and then the body language, everything, and teach the students to drill that down like the Krav Maga army. Does that make sense? But people are like, oh, I don't like to do drill. A lot of Latinos complain, I don't like to do drills. I don't get it. But no, shut up. Because if you drill down what a natural does, then that's the first principles, right? Social skills, social calibrations, emotional control. They don't have the perfect game. They're always like, they think they have game, but they don't. They have it individually. It's just they have social skills, social calibrations, emotional control. They have the full 7.5 points. And also, if they have really good social skills, it can go beyond 2.5 points. It can go like 5 points. That's how good the naturals are. They talk to everyone to sharpen it. For me, I don't talk to everyone to socialize. I do the social skills flow drill over and over to level up. Make sense? So he talks super slow when approach. No, he's a little bit faster, right? But he has a whitewash tonality. He sounds like a white guy. So for him, he can go faster, but my students go slower. It doesn't work for our students because too much cortisol. But because his whitewash tonality and social skills are so high, right? He can offload that. But he's talking louder recently. Before he used to talk a little bit quiet. When he talked a little bit louder, the women's looks went up. So, but yeah, because he thinks so fast, right? He's like Jeet Do, right? Like Bruce Lee, the art of the intercepting fist. Whenever women talks, he's already interrupting them and completing their thoughts because he's fast. He's like way faster than I can think. So he's quick. So that's how he's able to, talk faster. He thinks fast. But it doesn't mean automatically that's good for everyone. If you sound like a cortisol zombie, right? For example, sorry, itchy nose. If you sound like a cortisol zombie and you talk super fast, you're actually showing women that you have bad genes because you have too much cortisol. For him, he's doing because he's fast, he's quick witted like a natural, and is showing his power, his maneuverability. You guys are just showing how fast you're talking because your cortisol is affecting you and you don't have good genes. He's showing good genes. You guys are showing bad genes. Does that make sense? So as I'm saying, you don't want to just pump your state here and say, yeah, I get it, John. No, get a piece of paper. I bought this from Amazon, right? I don't know, like fucking $12 or something, $13 for this. Not expensive. And there's so much paper in here. There's so much paper in here. I could keep writing. And it's good. This is a great asset. This changes your life. You can plan things, right? Like we're talking about for Navy SEALs, the planning things, positive self-talk, right? The gratitude stuff is really great. I'm starting to feel a lot better, right? I feel a lot better. I'm grateful to travel before, to see the different countries. I mean, you have to be grateful for that. There's a bigger world out here than just Vancouver in this area. I mean, the world's actually not as big as I thought. It looks big in the pictures, but it is cool. Other places are way better than the United States, in my opinion. Way better. Let's see what else I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that I look younger and I don't physically age, right? Don't age. Because I'm a vampire. No, I was joking. I don't physically age, so I'm always forever the same age. I'm always like 24 for the rest of my life. I have to be grateful for that, you know? It gives me more time to operate because I'm not physically aging. So I'm not sure. Do I look like a chubby person right now? Because I can't see. Without my glasses, I can't really see. We have a big fucking double chin, like a little bit here today. A tiny bit. That's not good. But yeah, I'm a little bit heavier now. I don't know. All right. So basically, this is a field manual. You gotta write it down and stuff like that. You gotta feel very different. You operate with better emotions. So one time, an Indian student, right? They wrote down all the negative thoughts. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to read it. Is the other person here? When I told him to write down all negative thoughts, I don't want to read it out loud because that's like students' private stuff. Let's see if I can find it, right? Negative thoughts. Um, okay, list all negative thoughts. So yeah, that's good, right? That's good because now you're like in the unconscious incompetence stage to conscious competent. I mean, conscious incompetence. Incompetence. Because there's 4 stages, right, of learning skills. Unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence to conscious competence, right? Eventually you get there in unconscious competence. Because you're aware now that where the timestamp is, right, for the higher notes. If you're not hitting the higher notes, then you know exactly what needs to be fixed, right? But you're aware. That's a good thing. You can't change something unless you're aware of it. I'm just talking to Indian students, so exactly. So, but okay, so this is one thing you can also do, right? Let's just say hypothetically, so I can show you how to do the homework assignment, okay? I know this is not a class I'm teaching, I should not be, but I'm going to share with you this stuff. So an Indian student, I'll say, every single time you have a negative thought, text me it, right? So you can see the time and how often. So it's like, oh, I feel depressed that women don't like me or something like that. So Indian will send me that. And then the next like 30 seconds, they have another negative thought. Oh no, the economy is not good. I have to pay my bills. I was like, okay, the 2 thoughts, right? And then next fucking 10 seconds, they send me another one. Oh no, my nose is crooked. It's like, what? And then afterwards, like, oh, good, another, okay, then this is gonna be like, okay, another 2 minutes. They send me another thing. Oh shit, my project is not working out, whatever, like blah blah blah. I say, okay. They send me another one right away. It's just like negative thoughts. Indians go through this much negative thoughts. And they keep sending me. You can see how long. And we do this for like maybe an hour or two. Then we count exactly how many negative thoughts. Oh no, I'm starting to feel like, like this country is not very conductive to Daygame. That's what they send me, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm not sure if I can find a woman that looks like the looks level I want, but and they just keep doing that. It always pops in their head. All Indians have such low self-esteem. It's like the demon is talking. So if you start meditating, like oh, and then you pretend to sink to the bottom of the ocean, and you let the thoughts and feelings drift over you, and realize that's not you. It's just a stream of consciousness. They have a negative self-talk that happens all the time. Indians would just have negative self-talk, like 80 of them in like 1 hour. And you're like, 80 in 1 hour? Holy. It's like more than like 1 per hour or per minute. If you just want to see what happens and text me, even on Elite Access, go ahead. Just say, John, I want to do this homework assignment to list all my negative thoughts. We can kind of see what the negative thoughts are, but that's not you. That's the zombie. That's a negative trait. Maybe your parents are critical, right? People that have low self-esteem have all these thoughts. I don't actually have these thoughts. These thoughts do not cross my mind. It's always blank and coming up with brilliant shit because I have self-esteem. But for you, for the students, just negative thought after negative thought. How is that going to affect your manifestation? Every negative thought is going to affect your emotions. You're going to crash out. So if you have like 80 of them per minute, right? That's a lot of negative thoughts. So what places do you like in the United States? Actually, none of them. Right? I mean, that place fucking sucks. None of them are really great. They're just a bunch of sanctuary cities now, or a bunch of places where it's just like full of migrants that are like illegal immigrants. And it's just like they're all depressing places. So anyways, that's what I'm saying. So if there's 80 of them, right, in a row, and that's like these are like bullies, right? But then, you cannot let it control you. Your thoughts can actually trigger you and they can steer your life. One of the white students here, I don't want to say who, whenever he has a negative thought, he'll just quit the whole day of doing homework. He'll make excuses or he'll get triggered or he'll beat himself up. You got to be able to write down all the negative thoughts just to audit it for one day, just to see what happens. Or maybe for one. When you do that for 1 hour, then you must be able to catch it. So take notes, right? Send it on WhatsApp or send it to yourself. If you open WhatsApp, right, and you want to add a new contact, you can still send it to your own phone number, right? And you can keep adding it there. Open it and leave it there. So, for example, I don't have any negative thoughts, right? Right now, I'm clicking onto my own phone number, right? I can type it to myself. So for example, I'm gonna say negative thought. People are poor, right? Punishing me for it, right? Even if I'm the world's best day game coach. Okay, that's a negative thought. Okay. It won't pop up. I don't have negative thoughts popping up. But let's say, for example, I keep doing that, right? Latinos, I'm just making something up, are ungrateful. They are ADHD, right? And don't do homework, right? Same bad habits, but somehow it's my fault. There's two of them right there, right? And maybe after 5 more minutes, I might have another bad thought. I can voice type this. Lots of people just are bothered by the tariff and they're just ignoring what I'm saying because they're so bad with managing money. They're on debt and they don't even have more than $2,000 or $1,000 to their name. It's pathetic. So there's like three thoughts, right? Let's just say hypothetically, I don't usually have thoughts because I don't have low self-esteem. I'll just delete this. I don't want this on my phone. But at the end of 1 hour, I time everything, right? We see how many thoughts are left over. So you can start to look at your thoughts. What's behind the subconscious mind? Make sense? Then you can start to change things. And you can use positive self-talk. Eventually, every single time you have a negative thought, just type it down. It's really hard to stop, but you could tell your brain, right? Brain, stop being so delusional or having negative thoughts. Shut the fuck up, right? I want to control my brain, right? So I had this audio, right? I sent it to the other students. So I sent this to the white student. But you want to be lazy, want to do the assignment grumpy. That's not her voice. I don't want to listen to your ideas. Lots of quick voice. I don't want to quit. Stop talking to me. Back up. Next one. Low coachability voice. I want to be coachable and improve my life. Shut the fuck up.
So adaptability. I want to be adaptable.
So the students have this audio, right? For the elite access students. Maybe if you could play one set of them or something like that. Whatever is that mindset, 5 mindsets. The first one is about 4 traits of low self-esteem. Second one's 5 mindsets. The third one's grit. So
as fast as possible.
So that's the 5 mindset. Here's the grit.
Fixed mindset. Voice. I want to open my mind. Stop closing my mind. Stop. Resilience voice. Be resilient. Fix this task. Fuck up. God instinct voice. I don't want to listen to you. I want to listen to myself and follow the instructions. So fuck up. Tenacity voice. I want to finish what I started and not give up halfway. Shut the fuck up.
It really does work because your brain has snapped. Because the low self-esteem zombiness, right? It wants to exist in your brain. It actually is like a demon that grows there, right? And if you guys have high self-esteem because you do your task and you get self-esteem by completing it, it'll be a lot less powerful, right? You get less negative thoughts. You get it? So it's like a zombie. It's like a zombie sequence. The more you guys actually give into this and become lazy like a Latino, right? Before they crash out and blame me for it. If you give into the voices and your opinions as facts, right? And you're going to crash out faster and lose your mind. Does that make sense? You can't. But an audio like this is very useful because for a short time, you can snap your voice and just bitch slap it and say, hey, who's in charge? Me, not you. And your brain will listen for they'll stop attacking you if you play the audio there. For an Indian person, they did the same thing. They tell themselves, like, they play the audio. Brain, stop being so delusional, whatever. Shut the fuck up, right? And the Indian guy for 40 seconds, right? They will not have a voice attacking them before they write it down. They'll give them 40 seconds of peace. And they play again to get another 40 seconds of peace, right? Does that make sense? So low self-esteem is really a bad thing to have. It's really hard to succeed with low self-esteem. Unteachable cases have really bad self-talk. So if you keep doing that, you can counterattack your brain. It's like beating this parasite down. It'll change your vision, your zombie VR. They always see women that are into them. In reality, they're freaked out. When they hear their audio infields or the homework assignments, they cannot hear the mistakes. They're delusional. They're like, oh, anybody else will say that sounds great. That doesn't sound angry. It's like, come on, you got so much stress in your voice, too much cortisol. Well, like, shut up. Stop being a crybaby. So you really believe all your opinions as facts, right? Are all correct, but in 4 months it's gonna fail. So it must be a tough way to live, like a Latino. So for positive self-talk, once you figure out exactly what all the negative self-talk is, you should really try this exercise and just see what happens. Humor me, right? Write it all down on WhatsApp or write it on a piece of paper. All right? Things are not expensive, 13 bucks. Lots of paper. Just write all day, right? You'll never run out. So, because you got to fix your inner game. You might be thinking, oh, it's the economy, right? Oh, it's going to crash. But you wrote it down and that was your thoughts, right? And you realize that is not your thoughts. That's the parasite talking through you, the low self-esteem. I really don't have a negative voice. There's nothing. It's very peaceful. But if I did have a negative self-esteem, that's gonna be fucked. It's gonna fuck up my my thinking. I'll be delusional like other Daygame coaches. If there was that zombie voice, it's very important that you deal with it. So give it a thumbs up for that. It's a really important thing to learn. I only got 2 likes for this. Most day gamers don't even have self-esteem, right? Then afterwards you can challenge your thoughts, you erase this, or stop and then or we can reframe it. This is not an RSD thing, high vibrational energy. But you feel a lot better because you do this whole list of gratitude stuff. Every single thought in your brain actually compounds. It's like an indirect system, right? It's like not the iceberg, the layer of it, it's underneath it. Behind the scenes, you don't want to have a bunch of mental viruses, right? I know this seems time consuming, but you have a good mental cleanse this way. You'll feel more positive. Because if your thoughts are all like that, it's all delusional and your beating yourself up. The problem is that when you have to win at all costs, like a sociopath, and you have no shame or guilt, and you blame everything, that's not a positive thought. That's a loser talk. Then you have a massive ego, and you tell yourself you are enough, and you shift the blame to everybody else. Oh, it's John's fault, and he's too tough as a coach. Well, okay, have fun, RSDing it, and you know, why don't you just sexualize it, right, nonstop? That's not going to work. You can get off the line when you sexualize it too much. You creep women out. You only attract like 3 out of 10s for Daygame. But yeah, positive self-talk. Let's say, for example, right, that you're awake for 14 hours or something, right? More than 12 hours. How many negative thoughts is that, right? If it's like 80 per hour or 12 hours, right? That's 1,120 negative thoughts, guys. Yeah, what? In one day, you have 1,120 negative thoughts. You're like, well, that's a lot of fucking negative thoughts. Really? That's over 1,000? Yep. And also, if you do that by 31 days, and let's just say 30 days, right? Not 31, but 30 averagely. So how many negative thoughts do you get? You get the 33,600 negative thoughts. You're like, what the fuck? But when you have these zombie-like thoughts, right, and you think it's real, it's like a zombie VR. And I tell you what's like working in Daygame, and you dismiss it. That's why Latinos love to dismiss with their one-track mind and opinions as facts, because sociopaths have to win at all costs. I'm not saying all Latinos are sociopaths. I'm just saying the pickup artists. So you see what you want to see because you want to win at all costs. You're delusional. Everything you believe you say you think is real, but your low self-esteem is completely in control because you're all jammed with bad thoughts. It's like a mental virus. It really is. It really is like the book As a Man Think Of, because the thinking patterns is what manifests your reality. All these negative thoughts, right? That's too many negative thoughts. So if you can control that, or you have audio with text to speech, right, with positive speech, in case you cannot do it, right, it'll make a huge difference in your life. I would try to open my video editing program. I can use a text to speech, right, with some confident sounding voice, and I can write the opposite, for example, or write some affirmations or declarations that can help me. So, for example, I may have a negative expectations of Latino future students that they're all going to be bad and negative. Maybe I can say some Latino students, you might start meeting some good ones out there that is not lazy. Maybe you might think they're all poor fucking sewer rats during the inflation, and then they're punishing me. You might say, I will attract great clients or something, right? High ticket clients for 3MP, and they're going to do all their homework and not complain. But if I loop this audio over and over, it replaces the thoughts faster, right? It was 1,000, like, how many negative thoughts was it again? I forgot. It was 33,600, right? You want to loop it past 30, like that many? You can loop an audio all day of the things that you want inside your brain. It's very important that your thoughts are aligned with the things that you want to accomplish. Your whole existence will change when you play an audio with positive self-talk. That will drown out the negative messages. So if you can control that with text-to-speech, man, oh man, it'll change so much. But first of all, you got to write down the negative things and figure it out. Does that make sense? I would want to live somewhere outside of Vancouver. I still got some obligations here, but I think one day I want to move somewhere else, and buy a house there or something, like a villa. So, but nowhere ever feels like home exactly. That's the problem. Vancouver actually looks like all of Europe. If you take like every single city, every part of like BC has a different part of Europe. They almost look identical. That's the weird thing. One thing is that it's very familiar. It also looks like the United States. It's like the BC looks like every fucking place in the world. The rural areas will look like rural. The big buildings will look like New York, and then the other ones look like California. Some places. It's kind of weird. It's like a compilation of all the places. And But that's where, I don't know, it feels kind of familiar. But you get the point. Over and over, manifest your better life. So how many of you, say I in the comments, are going to start to implement at least one of these things? If you say no, please say no. If you say I, do it. If you're going to grab a notepad and write down gratitude every single day, right now I fill up 3/4 of it, gratitude. I'm feeling so much better, happier, a real joy on the inside that I haven't felt in a while. Okay, that's good. Grim Tales. English Bay is like California. Yeah, kind of. Because you've been there before, right? So the person is saying I, right? So we have two people, right? What about you, BC? Are you going to try or dismiss it? I know normally you dismiss it, but maybe invest $13 in a pad of paper. Who else over here is going to give it a try? I mean, what do you have to lose, right? If it works, it works. But if you use your phone, right, you might not actually use it. You WhatsApp, you can write down all the negative thoughts, right? Mr. D, you can write down all the negative thoughts that you have and send it to my WhatsApp for like 1 hour in one day, all right? And then we can see what shows up. And then you can try to reduce it. Who else here would do it? So we only got two people. You see that? These are doers. The rest are just talkers. They're not implementers. If you actually done it, your life would change. Your mood would change. Positive self-talk. This is a masterclass, guys. And if you cannot challenge your brain, right? Then just copy what I said. Go back to the video later on, right? Go back to the video later on, and you see the part when I say, brain, stop being so delusional, whatever. Shut the fuck up. You just have to transcribe what I'm saying, and then you have to say it with full conviction to yourself. Record it on the audio, and then you put it on your cell phone, send it to your own phone number, right? On WhatsApp. And then you can play the audio anytime, right? Anytime I procrastinate, I don't procrastinate, but anytime I do, actually, I don't even know what procrastination is anymore. So if you play all the audios, Mr. D, all 3 sets, you will not procrastinate. Your brain will go like full power just for a short while. So you can start to steer your life. And unteachable cases, right? They have so many negative thoughts, impossible cases, always emotional. So you fix this issue first. Positive self-talk. All right. That was just one section. That was big enough to have like a $5 course right there. Right? At least a $10 course right there. So I'll go to the bathroom after the next one. The next one, we could post testimonials and stuff, but we don't have time for that. We've done it in the first video. How many people here? Okay, 6. Give a thumbs up if you guys are learning something. Because only 2 people will do it, but 2 people will change your lives. Number 2, the next step is visualize to win. So how do you visualize? Well, there are many ways that you can visualize. Some people physically cannot sit down and visualize success. I remember teaching my student, right? You know, the Chinese guy who got married? He got like 15 lays, 5 models, 5 white girls, 2 actresses. And he also won foursome. And then he procreated, had a daughter. And then the other Latino guy, half Latino, half white, he saw that because he beats himself up. He doesn't have a growth mindset. And he rage quit right afterwards. So that's the wrong mentality. Does that make sense? But I remember teaching him this, right? That how do you visualize, right? I said to him, right, dude, just imagine sitting down for a couple minutes and you go for a open to insta date, right? Close your eyes. And then you're pulling from venue changes. You're pulling this white girl home and then you're having sex with her, right? And he's like, because he never fucked a white girl before when he was training with me. Ever. He's fucked a Brazilian that looks white. Like they call it white Latinas. They're not white Latinas. They're just Latinas. They look white, but they're Latinas. So he says, oh, I can't imagine because I've never done it before. It's like, oh, I haven't made $1 million before, so I can't imagine it. What the fuck? I haven't made $1 million yet. I haven't crossed over there yet. But I can still imagine what it feels like too. Right? Because you need to see it. You can't do it unless you see a victory. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter about that. right? Forget about the words, forget about the stuff. Visualize yourself, just like my infields, from open to sex. Your mind will make it real and it's very vivid. So that's one thing you can do. You got to visualize it, because if you can't see it, then your believability index will go down a lot. So there are some people that cannot imagine this. Sometimes I tell a student to make an AI image of their face, right? And they paste it onto a body, use Photoshop or something, Photopia, paste their face on top of the AI image of somebody that looks kind of like them. Let's say they're Indian, right? I had my Indian students start going on Insta dates, and they have a picture of a blonde woman next to them. This AI image looks kind of cartoony, but as real as you can make it. When they see a collage of pictures, right, it manifests in their life. Make sense? It's like a vision board. When they see that, this is what it looks like to put her in your car. This is what it looks like when she's on your bed. So it looks like when you're approaching her. So they always have some blonde white chick, right? That's like 20 years old. So when they see that over and over in the collage all the time, that's when they get laid that year, because they've seen it. If they can see it, they can do it. So whatever your goal is, right? Maybe same day lay, right? Like my other students, gotta sit down and go through every step in your mind. Forget about knowing the techniques. Forget about the words. Forget about the social skills flow drill. Just see yourself doing it over and over. Rehearse it, mentally rehearse it, because that's what the Navy SEALs do. They mentally rehearse success over and over again. So you need to see successful outcome, because the unteachable cases are seeing the opposite. I'm giving you guys a tool, so there's no excuse about resilience. You see that? If you have all the tools, mental tools, then why even worry about the fucking tariff? Who gives a shit? I mean, it's not like the economy crashed or nothing. The stock markets are still going up. There's hardly any inflation. Like nothing bad happened yet. The economy has not even crashed. All the predictions were wrong. So it's like the zombies, right? They're deluding you. You know, if you're unteachable case, right? They're seeing the opposite, right? The only thing is like, don't put constant negative self-talk, but basically what I'm trying to say is that you might want to see it clearly for a split second. You might see yourself failing, right? And getting rejected, right? That's the truth. When you're out there in Daygame, you forgot about the positive visualization. Oh, women don't like you, and you see them walking away. But it will change your life if you just sit down and meditate right afterwards and say, you know what? What if the next one or next few, they start being more receptive, and you go on an instant date with them and you pull them back home and you had sex with them? Of course, this is easier said than done. Just because I teach you how to do this and you intellectualize it, until you actually do it, then your life will change. Of course, a lot of people will not do this. They didn't say because they're not implementers. The poorer you are, the less money you have, the less they implement, the more they get in their own head. That's the truth. I've never seen poor people implement anything. Poor people don't implement shit when they're broke, because they're in such survival mode. They're manifesting brokenness and becoming more broke to the universal chef. So I remember one time when my other student got laid, I made him paste their heads, right? Like I said, on Photoshop, right? That's one way. And they're minorities. It worked. So, you know, until you see it, you don't believe it. I'm giving you a field manual. Another thing is that you can go on Amazon and grab like a cheap Google cardboard, right? It's like $20 or $10 or something like that, right? It has this like VR thing. You put your phone inside it. You can see yourself. Go on YouTube and go on those virtual dates with women or something. Have a feeling what it feels like to go on a date with a pretty white girl. They're not very pretty on YouTube, but how does it feel like? Because you feel uncomfortable. But if you see it, you get used to it. You start to manifest it. I'm not saying like look at VR porn, nothing. But what I'm saying is that use it as a visualization tool. You're like, really? Yeah. You're not used to hot women that are models, then use that. You're not used to dating a lot, use that as a date. Does that make sense? Until you see it, you won't do it. Seeing is believing. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go on virtual dates. And one student, he only like kept going on dates, right? He did not actually try to have a woman in the bedroom when he's looking at that. He's always on dates, so he only manifested dates. Right? And it's like, dude, you're fucking up the steps. You're only going on virtual dates. You're not pulling her home. It's like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. Then you change it and it starts working. So if you don't know what it feels like, and maybe some of you are virgins, you don't know what a woman feels like to have sex with her, then this is what it kind of looks like. You can see it through the vision. But don't keep fapping and stuff over it, because that way you become addicted and you won't actually approach. You are not allowed to fap when you look at this VR shit. But that's just one way. If you cannot create that in real life and have female friends, then just start seeing them. So you get comfortable. So you manifest it. It's kind of like the reason why I have so many watches on my desk, right? Is that these are great manifestation tools. They're like a wealth trigger, right? A wealth trigger. So I gotta be careful not to scratch this. So yeah, these are all manifestation tools. I don't know what's a good YouTube video. You just have to search it, like 360 VR, something with beautiful women, something like that. You might find something that you can look at. Then you get more comfortable. Because don't forget, we're talking about thoughts and feelings equals manifestation, right? This is going to affect your emotions, right? Because comfort is an emotion. Remember how I said for making money is a temperature, right? A thermostat. There's also a thermostat for women. If they're too attractive and you get afraid, your thermostat is set too low. You got to work your way up. Does that make sense? My thermostat is like high to a certain degree. Does that make sense? My Pakistani mentor's thermostat was 9 out of 10 before, and he just gets nothing but nines. Because when he was younger, he went over to Australia and he was going to a bar, right? It was closing. Some Australian guy knocked him down by accident because he walked past him. So he went to the second bar and he bangs a 9 out of 10 early. When he bangs a 9 out of 10, he's like, oh, I could do it again because he's done it already. So he's just banging nothing but 9 out of 10s in Vancouver. Bang 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10. I've seen the women that he pulled because I was living in the same mansion. And they're all Instagram model looking women. So they look like, yeah, they look like all like Instagram models. You know, those types that are like models on there and they're like influencer models / whatever. They all look like that. It's like, what the fuck? Every single one. He pulled like 15 in front of me. So, but yeah, so you see how that's important to manifest, to see it. Got to see it, to believe it, to do it. Got to change your thermostat, but not have a porn addiction or any sort of thing like that. That's all I'm saying. You always do no fap, right? Always do no fap. Because the hornier you are, the more likely you're going to approach. And if you do approach, then you can fap. Make sense? Because you reward yourself for your dopamine for actually going out there, and then you can fap. If you really, really feel like horny and you haven't done it for a week, then get the fuck outside, walk down the street, talk to a few women walking by, get back home and fap. It's not like no fap forever, getting frustrated. More like no fap and reward yourself. Eventually, by doing this, you do have more aggression. Of course, when you have tall self-proclaimed coaches like, oh, no fap is bullshit, right? I fap like whatever for porn. Like, dude, you have like fucking barely any Daygame lay testimonials. All the naturals I know do no fap. They're so good at it, they automatically get laid because they have skill. Maybe not with the zombies. The zombies can also go out there, then they can reward themselves. But they do this enough times, they go out there more, than they can get laid faster. Make sense? If this is what the naturals do, then don't listen to opinions as facts. So, all right, let's continue. So you can always think women are like into you in real life, right? When you have alexithymia, emotional blindness. Most Latinos have it. They cannot feel emotions. One student is so depressed, a 21-year-old Latino. He just got some St. John's wort today. I said, if you don't get it right now, you're going to mentally self-destruct. His sister was supposed to buy him the supplements from Amazon, but she did not. So he went out there himself and got it from a supplement store. So maybe in your mind, you can only see like Latinos getting Latinas mostly. So you kind of get stuck there. But of course, you can just get a Google Cardboard and, but it doesn't mean just because you get this, she's not going to jump on your dick, but you're going to be more comfortable. At least you're visualizing success. You're practicing success. But this also relates to money. You can start to watch these videos. How is it like to live in a mansion or having a yacht or, holding a bunch of money that you don't even make to that degree? You get comfortable. Maybe beside a Rolls Royce, right? Does that make sense? Many things you can do to change the thermostat. This is like manifestation. So don't be addicted to it, because once you're addicted, it's game over. It's not my responsibility. So, but that's what I'm saying. Positive self-talk and positive visualization of what you want, from open to sex. You got to visualize that. Got to be not afraid. How does it feel like to talk to her? How does it feel like to walk with her? Go on a coffee together, insta date, venue changes, pull back home, do the arrow science, and then have sex with her. You cannot say, oh, because you never done a same day lay before. It's like, who cares? Your brain cannot tell the difference. If something's vivid enough, your senses will think it's real. If your visualization is clear enough, the clearer it is, the more likely it's going to happen. So that's why, for me, I'm not that emotional. So therefore, before I was ruthless as a coach, I got so many lay testimonials. I used to get 100, 150 or 100 a year. Usually before the pandemic. 100. So not all of them are lay, some of them are pulled. So it used to be common to get like 20 a month. Now it's harder because people are broke and people are like really struggling, as you can see. And not everyone can afford my courses. But Elite Bundle Resurrections is a good price. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Should I have a sale afterwards for a 10-day launch? I'm not thinking about doing a sale. I might or I might not. Who knows? But that's my point. Think about it this way. There's a study, right, with a bunch of basketball players or people just shooting a basketball in the hoop. I don't remember the details, but they only had positive visualization that they sunk the basket in the hoop for one group. There's two groups. One group here. They only have to sit down, close their eyes, and that they're shooting the basketball in the hoop. Boom, right? And it's going in. The next people are scrambling to practice, right? They're all shooting the actual basketball in real life over and over, over and over, over and over. And then they start competing against each other to see who's better. Who's going to sink more baskets? Who do you think sink more baskets? The people that practice in real life or the people that visualize it? Write in the comments, right? Which one do you think actually sink more baskets? I'll just read the first and second response. We don't have time for everyone. Who do you think sink more baskets? The visualization or the people practice in real life? Dun, 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 dun. The visualizer, okay? And the next person says visualizer, okay? No, actually, they both tied. They're just dead even. So, but if they're dead even, then the visualization is not important. But isn't that weird? They're fucking dead even. What the fuck? Exactly the same. Like, what the fuck? So that's the thing. So Mr. D, right? Maybe it's time to visualize success. And BC is to visualize your next job. And that so many different people will start to interview and hire you. Then you'll start to change your actions. Get it? Does that make sense? Mr. D, rather than getting rejected and beating yourself up, you start visualizing what it feels like when she's finally back at your place. So, that's the thing. You got to picture over and over. It is kind of strange, right, how they type. But that's sports psychology. It's a very important component. Same with the military, right? Through the IDF does not do this positive visualization. I'm pretty sure their visualization is that they're gonna beat all the Arabs anyways and take over Iran and try to take out the nuclear facilities. I'm pretty sure they visualize that on a daily basis on a grand scale, but it's not part of the training to visualize. I think they actually do it. They're more of a doer, not the visualizers, right? The Navy SEALs and visualizers. Yeah, it would be a complete 180 from my past and current reality, right? Because nobody tells you cannot visualize it, right? There's no one, it's not illegal to visualize success. And who knows, you might actually put out more resumes or make some changes to your resumes. Maybe you change your appearance, right? Because you feel different, your thoughts change, and then you get like a suit or something, and then they hire you right away because you look great, you look like a professional. So IDF don't visualize, but Navy SEALs, like I said. So imagine you're doing exercise, you're feeling like cognitive dissonance, right? Sometimes you might feel like off, like, oh shit, I can't do that. Most of you won't do it, but a few of you will give it a try. And you feel a lot better. And you start approaching more. And you'll be like, you won't be so fucked up. So over there, say I in the comments. Who's going to give this positive visualization exercise a try? It doesn't matter if you get Google Cardboard or you don't, right? Or you sit down and close your eyes. Who's going to give that a try that they succeeded in doing a same day leg? So Grim Tales, okay? So he's saying I. Who else is going to give it a try? Be honest. Don't just say it because you feel obligated. BC's going to give this one a try. Use it for that job. Who else? Who's going to give it a try? Okay, so Mr. D, I'm not going to force you, but if you're not ready to give it a try, then don't do it. Right? You don't have to say I if you don't feel like it. But this is something that you should do, right? But that's the thing. I'm giving you guys tools now. There's no excuses about the tariff or resilience and then bad economy now. If you visualize success, you're going to change your actions because your thoughts and feelings change. More opportunities will open up to you. So this is the thing. You want to learn more about these kind of tools, you guys should get the Elite Bundle Resurrections with Elite Tonality Mastery or 3MP Bundle with all my courses and online training. You get to learn a lot of cool stuff like this because women can feel the energy. We're all manifesting. It's all energy, nothing solid. I mean, somebody just texted me. Let's see. So, okay, good. Okay, Latino student, right? Have you? It looks like you did not actually listen to my audio. Yes, we'll write it up tonight. You see that lazy Latino student? I told him he's the very last Latino student in the world before I ban all of them. This guy's from the East Side. Pathetic. He's such a procrastinator. You see that? He needs to watch this. Time management, all this other stuff, positive self-talk, all this stuff, positive visualization. He needs this. Guy does not implement shit. Whenever you teach Latino students, they're like, oh, you got to pamper them more. You got to be nicer to them. They need more coaching. They fucking run away from coaching. It's pathetic. So your voice is too shaky, right? You got to be like whitewashed. You got to sing through it, right? Listen to your audio like it's your friend or like it's Charles, right? Tell me what you think about that. All right. So this is like elite access. Students only get 10 minutes of my time, but he's 3MP. He can have all my time, really, for hours because he's paid 5K. They get training all day if they want it. Many programs, right? They can go all day. I don't care. They paid for it. But yeah, that's something you guys should consider. You want like 10 minutes of my time or you want like hours? All right, let's continue. Next category is called the stress control, box breathing. Okay, normally I should be going to the bathroom, right, really quickly, but maybe I should quickly go. Give me like 30 seconds. I'm gonna rush. I gotta pee. Like, I'll be back as fast as I can. Don't worry. Don't. All right, I'm back. So sorry about that. I'm just only human, but the things that you're learning here today, right? I could literally sell this for like a $50 course or something. I hope you're getting guys a lot of value. How come I'm only getting 3 likes? Is this not valuable to you guys to have resilience from Navy SEALs? Talk about ungrateful. I can give myself another like on the phone, right? Maybe I should do that. So yeah, let's see over here. Like, yeah, there we go. Usually I get always one dislike from the hater, the half Latino, half white guy. That's such a loser. Let's see. Yeah, he's just giving me one dislike. So that means he's probably on here, which probably means if we were to deduct it that he watched this video, then we have to say that he is the future expat, right? Why did you write badly about me when you didn't do any fucking work, future expat? You're a loser. You fucking loser. Like, how can you blame a coach when you quit in 14 days because another student got married and procreated? And you start writing lies like, oh yeah, he counts every single student testimonials that one student from the whatever has 150 likes and it goes towards the 666 number. These are vicious lies. You're a fucking asshole. Maybe I should fucking sue you. I already have a lawyer now in New York. I don't mind litigating you to the fucking ground for years. Fuck you. All right, let's continue. You give me a thumbs down. Fuck you. You're a fucking loser. You know that? You're like a crybaby. You're fucking crashing out like far left. Opinions is fast. Like a Latino, right? Just making up, like literally just in your mind, it's like everything you say is the truth. Well, and just because you got a world record in something, and then all of a sudden you think your job is the same as Daygame. It's a different mindset, different skill set. You have no skills. Fucking did 12 drills, right? What a pussy. Well, should we just fucking block this guy? Because I think if this thumbs down, I'm not saying automatically that's him, but I suspect it's him. Because he wants to be an expat. He wants to go to Latin countries because he failed in fucking New York. I have students that same day late in New York. Many students have gotten late in New York. Such an easy fucking place. You're fucking pathetic for not getting late there. I was gonna post more late testimonials, right, for them to thumb down. Super easy. All right, let's continue. See how many views for this video. There not be that few. No, there's not that many views yet. So let's continue. All right, next category is called stress control, box breathing. So right now, if I feel a little bit stressed over it, okay, this is what box breathing is. And that's why I'm teaching my other students, as you can hear them breathing. Many of the students have different breathing techniques, whether to open their lungs, because a lot of Latino students have very small lung syndrome. There's no such thing, but that's why I call it small lung syndrome. There's no such thing, but what does small lungs sound like when they breathe in the air, right? Just like the hater, the half Latino, half white guy, future expat, right? Future of passport bro. They usually sip in the air. They're like, when they have to breathe in, they can barely get the air in there. They make that sipping sound. And then they hold their breath and they go pew, right? They're like, and then they breathe in 3 times like that, sipping in the air, and then they hold it and they go pew. It's like, dude, what the hell is that? They got really small lungs. So in order to do the box breathing, right? Whenever you run out of oxygen, you get into the fight, flight, and freeze mode. So when you're talking and stuff, and then all of a sudden you start sounding angry, it's because whenever you feel like you're choked out of oxygen, some people wants to run away. Like the bad Latino students, of the 6 or 7 people that did not get laid, right? I got many students that got laid. 5 of them have approach anxiety, so they're flee mode. They want to run away. Also, freeze mode is another one. You might freeze up and not know what to do and not say anything. And then there's the fight mode. The worst one for them, if they sound angry, they're in fight mode, they're going to sound angry. So how do you fix this? So you have a better lung capacity and you're less stressed out and less double chinned because of small lung syndrome. You'll be forcing the air in like 3 times, right? But that's stupid. So a lot of unteachable cases, right? The first thing I noticed, they all have small lungs because they're so used to shallow breathing, because they're triggered all the time. Because they're triggered, they cannot get oxygen into their lungs. They have the least amount of lung capacity. The bad students, the Latinos. And that's the thing. Always in a flee mode, always wanting to run because epigenetic fear. Some Latinos, because maybe previous ancestors have gotten themselves in life and death situations in crazy, like dangerous Latino countries before, and they grew up like that and they pass a gene and they become fearful. I'm not saying that happens to everyone. I don't want to generalize, but it happens to a lot of the students. The pickup artists, the Latinos either have fear or they have zero fear and they just mass approach. But learning how to deal with the stress is important. So the most important, I'm posting their Latino lay testimonials over and over, right? But most of them don't have fear. So how you do the box breathing of the Navy SEALs? I actually do this before I approach. So this is what it sounds like, okay? I'm gonna breathe in for it, okay? Okay, in case I cut this part out when I rebuild the video, I breathe in for like that. I have to hold for it. So out for it. Look for it. Look for it. Look for it. 2, 3, 4. Out for it. Hold for it. In for it. So if you do this 10 times, it's called one set. Make sense? One set is a 10 reps. Before I approach, I always do this. I always try to force as much oxygen doing the box breathing. For Navy SEALs, when the bullets start flying, right? The first thing they do is already go into hold on to it. Shooting the bullet. You do that 10 times and you get clear headed. You no longer triggered or crashing out. Latinos always crash out. But if they done the box breathing all the time, they get into a habit. That's important because if you're stressed out, your body will shut down. You'll get into the fight, flight, and freeze response. So it is easier said than done, but you guys should practice. Not just intellectualize this, because a lot of you are not implementers. But that's what the Latino students are bad students, right? Not saying all Latinos are bad students or all Latinos are like the whole population. They're all fucked up. I'm not saying that, but the ones who are bad students, they have a big stress problem with cortisol. They're shallow breathers. That's why they always have double chins and stuff. I mean, for me personally, I gain a little bit of double chin. Sometimes I'm not sure if this part pokes out a little bit, so I'm not perfect. Last video, it looks like that. This video, maybe a little bit less. I don't know. But it happens. Maybe it's stress. Who knows? But they always have a double chin. They always lose their hair, or they always start losing their muscle mass, or they'll start losing their memory. So if they have muscles, then they lose their hair, right? If they have their hair, then they always have a double chin. If they have a double chin, they always lose their memory. So every time you get stressed out and triggered, and that happens all the time in meltdowns for the far left Latinos who voted for Kamala Harris. But Latinos in general, they have meltdowns. So do the box breathing. Because when you have the wrong thoughts and you have the wrong feelings, you get pissed off, eventually you're going to crash out. They don't listen to the steps and they always fail. It's like they're losers. It must be tough to live like a loser where you constantly fail. So always breathe. Every time you feel stressed, like right now I feel stressful. 2, 3. Oh, no, breathe out. Or hold for it. 2, 3, 4. Out for it. Hold for it. Out for it. Hold for it. And for it. He now is starting to feel a little more relaxed. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. See, now it's like less anxious energy. So when you start approaching, you'd be like, excuse me, real quick. I have a question. I was looking for a place called Zara. Do you know where I can find it? So it makes it easier. Makes it easier. So that's box breathing. So just like the 4 tenets of Navy SEALs, you got to incorporate box breathing into your life. Say I in the comments. How many of you are going to start doing some box breathing? Give it a thumbs up for this, but also for the algorithms, because a hater is over there. We should just get rid of like future expat in case that's him. But how many of you are going to do this? Say I. Okay, I. We have one person. I'm not sure if you're training with me or not, right? Grimtails. But maybe you should join Elite Bundle Resurrections if you're willing to implement, right? That's what I'm looking for. Implementers. Only one person? All right, then. If you don't do it, you're just gonna double chin yourself and get really like stressed out. All right, then. Then you go on to be like, you know. Another thing is that avoidant personalities usually are bad. These bad students, when they're avoidant, they don't get laid. So, what's an avoidant personality? Whenever they run away from the drills and exercises, right? You saw that other guy, that Latino guy, right? Avoidant, always avoidant. We'll see. This is yes, we'll write out for tonight. You've been saying that for the last 4 days. If you don't get your homework assignment done by tonight, I'm gonna have to ban you for like 2 weeks, maybe 3. You see that? Whenever that hater was like, "Yo, you got to coach those people more because if they're unteachable cases, they need more coaching." They're running away from me, right? It's dragging on forever. Watch, this guy's gonna have the Kakan Kamala, which is the Latino sociopathic behavior. He's gonna make an excuse. He's gonna say it's my fault. First, he's gonna make an excuse. No, he's gonna make an excuse. He cannot do it because he's busy with work. But it's my fault for contacting him at the wrong time or something like that. And then he's gonna give himself a pat on the back, like the other fucking unteachable case piece of shit. Oh yeah, I got world record before. I got this. I got girlfriends before. Like yeah, but not anymore. Like fucking after the inflation, right? You're fucked. But this guy's gonna do the cackling Kamala. You see that? This is an unteachable case. He should be kicked out. And then we're like, oh, John kicks everyone out. No, I kicked out one student. It's starting to get frustrating, and I'm starting to think whether or not you should be in this program. I'll delete that part, but I'll secretly, if I want to kick him out, I would. But you cannot say I can't kick out a student that does nothing. He at least tried a little bit. He's super slow. But what a fucking loser. Also, you should listen to your mindset playlist again. Your mindset already crashed out. And you better not do this cackling Kamala concept when I call you out on these issues. You are the very last Latino student that I'm letting into my coaching program before I announce a ban worldwide after the 5-day challenge. Yeah, so for Latinos, right? If you want to join, you better contact me now, right? Because I'm going to ban every single Latino student in the future. I cannot legally ban Latinos because of discrimination, but I can ban unteachable cases. I'm not obligated to teach unteachable cases. So if every Latino crashing out far left Kamala Harris voter is going to be slow like this, I'm not obligated to teach a student that's not coachable. He's not uncoachable. He's not like the other guy who does the opposite. He still does it. It's just he's an impossible case. So he's still coachable. But I don't want any more unteachable cases in my coaching program because they're fucking losers who are broke. They have less than $2,000 or $1,000 to the name. They can't afford anything. They're just paycheck to paycheck. The biggest fucking losers in the world. Total fucking losers. So now that's stressing me out. So I'm going to start breathing. Hold. You now feel less stress, right? Imagine dealing with that every single day. Every single Latino is like doesn't do shit. Like every single one of them. It's not even like it's almost like automatically. They're almost the same person. You think I'm making this shit up? It's actually real. It's unbelievable. If he gives me trouble, right, I might consider like at least let him know that he's on thin ice. Be careful with the word usually, right? You don't want the syllables close together, like banana, India, Canada. Usually. It's usually that you want to keep some spaces in between. Right? Okay, it's just another homework assignment. So you see students send me homework assignments all day, all throughout different random times. So once they get the drills down, everything is the drills. Like I said, you want to do at least 5 times the amount of drills than you do for approaches, Mr. D. It's unfortunate, right, that these people's nervous systems are attuned to the avoidant personality. Whenever they avoid the thing, he pretends he doesn't know how to do the homework assignment. You tell him, he still doesn't do it. You will not get laid. Most likely, that guy has zero chance of getting a date or anything. He's not going to approach. He's just, I mean, if you have students like that, right, there's such a pain in the ass, right? Impossible case. And imagine every single Latino student's like that. And then you have one of them wants to join you, half Latino, half white, another guy. And you tell him about the other Latinos, and he's just like, I understand what you're saying. Seriously. Like Indians from India, I ban every single one of them. Why should I not ban every Latino or make them sign a commitment contract? I shouldn't make them sign a commitment contract. So you should not join my coaching if you're avoidant, procrastinator, or lazy. There are like no mechanisms to build skills because you're running away. You take away. If I were you, right, I would practice the box breathing for an entire day. Every single like hour, you do like a set of 10 reps, one set. Of course, what I find with poor people is that they are broke and they have no money and they won't be able to accept any new information because they're too stressed out. They're manifesting stress. They're manifesting a double chin. You won't manifest anything good in your life if you're always stressed out. So you got to learn how to box breathe. My students have many different methods of breathing, many styles of breathing. But the haters, people, they can't even count properly when they're breathing with a different count. Not 4, 4, 4, 4. Because they have a Latino one-track mind. They have a one step all the time. At least in my teaching experience for the pickup artists, none of them can count properly for their breathing. Even the unteachable case, when he's breathing and he's counting, it's wrong. It's like Marco does the same thing, and another 21-year-old that got laid. Those guys, they still do the same fucking thing. So they couldn't even count the exact numbers. They always get it wrong. Like I said, I'm only speaking about my students. So when they have to count and they tap the back of their phone, right, when they're breathing, they can't even do it properly. They're like, instead of 4, right? They'll be like, so what the fuck is that? And then they hold for a long time. They hold even longer and they tap even longer. And then when they breathe out, they like, it's not even the right number. It's like they can't do multiple steps. And that makes it more difficult. If you can't do multiple steps, you can't do the social skills flow drill, then you're going to hate all the drills. Then you want more game tactics and game techniques because they're one step swing the samurai sword. It's like a samurai game sword. Swing, 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 SMVing it. They don't want to do no skill maxing of a ninja, but you should try anyways, right? Because it makes a big difference when you're stressed out. So don't be lazy. I think lazy people are just horrible people. If you're crashing out, you don't have emotions, and you're going to stab me in the back eventually. People like that who are triggered, right? And they don't have emotions, right? And they're like, opinions is facts. They will always stab you in the back at some point in your life. Because they're sociopaths. I'm not saying everyone's a sociopath, but the pickup artists is that have these traits. Most likely. So Navy SEALs, they do all this, right? All 4. As soon as gunfire hits. The fact that militaries are using this, you should use at least one of these 4 things. I know people that are unteachable cases, right? But they just look at me like I'm crazy and do nothing. They're not the type of people I want to train. So if you can do these 4 and you can incorporate them into your training, maybe every single day you learn these 4 things separately. You write a journal full of your gratitude and stuff. I've talked about grit. I took Krav Maga to increase it, but I never talked about how to increase your grit without taking some military martial art fighting system. So taking ashwagandha, even low dosage for 3 months, right, in a row, it lowers your cortisol by 32%, according to scientific studies. Even if you don't use a high dosage, a low dosage for 3 months, you'll have less cortisol and you can start to operate. But 3 months is a long time. If they weren't so busy dismissing it, the reason why they are unteachable cases is they need the supplements. Without the supplements, they're not going to actually focus or do anything. They're going to be stressed out. It will make a big difference. And nobody got liver damage from my students because they got too much cortisol. It's an adaptogen. So it literally sucks away the cortisol, but there's just too much of it. So who don't listen, they usually quit in 14 days, averagely. They'll fail every homework assignment. All right. So I have more things I wanted to say, but this is mainly what I want to say about the Navy SEAL stuff. I wonder if I should just stop it here or should I continue talking about the other stuff? If I talk about the other stuff, I have to go quicker, okay? I'll go quick as I can. But you guys should get Elite Bundle Resurrections. Do not delay. Because don't be a loser. Fuck the tariff. I'm teaching you how to get over the tariff. I'm giving you a field manual, basically. Like, who gives a shit? Elite Bundle Resurrections, 1K. Not that expensive. It might be expensive to you, but it's no big deal. 3 MPs, 5K. You want like hours of coaching a day with all the programs? Take 3 MP. Don't be a cheap fuck, right? Latinos always default back to like Elite Bundle Resurrections and they'll start complaining because they can't afford anything else. Next one. You need to have a survival mindset. People that are best at surviving is the IDF. Well, obviously, I mean, the Holocaust happened. I mean, what the hell? Ninjas are very good at surviving too. The IDF believes that if they lose a battle, they cannot lose a battle at all. They cannot lose a war because they're all going to be wiped out by the enemies all around them. So you have to be innovative. A lot of people don't have a survival mindset. You need to incorporate something like this, that you're not just a samurai swinging your game sword with high SMV, like a Latino before, who used to be 7 out of 10 for their natural status. and they just had to swing their game sword and they can collect the lays. You got to think like a ninja, because Latinos that don't adapt to a ninja, they're going to complain about me. Always a tall 5'11" guy is always complaining because they used to have it easier. They used to have multiple girlfriends at the same time too. Like not just like dating them separately, like dating at the same time, like 2 or 3 girlfriends. So that's how much SMB. 7 out of 10 perceived natural status. Now it's 5. And the other one, watch this. Is this guy gonna complain? No. Good. It's 3 MP student. Too many fucking syllables, right? Don't snap the syllables like the other guy from Australia. You know, the guy who died. He likes to roll his words. So it seems like this student has a lot of cortisol too. It will take him 3 months to lower it to 32%. But you got to think like a ninja. Ninjas have a lot of resilience and endurance. That's the word, endurance. Imagine that how tough it would be when you're living outside, it's raining, and you're doing your meditation like a ninja and you're practicing your drills for different weapons. And then you have to deal with the fucking samurais who always wants to kill you. Plus, you have to skill max everything. And you have no big katana, no game sword. It's all about drills and skills. You're basically skill maxing. Instead of social skills, social calibrations, emotional control, it's habits, not tactics. And you're not thinking like when you're out there in the mission, right? Either you pray to a candle, that's what ninjas do, and they completely focus and they execute it. They don't think when they're like jumping through buildings and stuff and scaling it because it's automated. But living like that and having very little food, making very little money, and going on your missions, it takes a very strong person to be a ninja. But you need to be a ninja, not like a samurai, because you're going to get fucked. Like not literally in a good way, but you're gonna get in, but you're gonna get stuck. There's a lot of information about ninjas, right? I mean, there's not a lot, but for all we know, a lot of this stuff that we see out there could be all commercialized. But their scrolls and everything else has been destroyed over history, so we don't know too much about them. But we do know that they have a survival instinct, and they need an ultimate endurance, mental resilience to survive. It's extremely hard to do all this. It's like being a mercenary spy, stealing other people's documents and stuff, escaping, assassination, all the other stuff. All these skills, right? I'm not saying that they're good at MMA. They're going to get destroyed by MMA fighter. What I'm trying to say is that in the old feudal Japan days, I'm more like a ninja than I'm a samurai because I never had to SMB it because I don't have SMB. So I just want to briefly go over and talk about this, that you guys have it all wrong. You guys are like, oh, John's like North Korean dictatorship. No, it has to be like survival system so that my fellow Asians can benefit from it because they have the lowest SMB. They have 1 out of 10 perceived natural status. It's like dog shit. It's so little. So they have to have 7, like they don't have a 7 out of 10 perceived natural status of Latinos before, which is 5 out of 10 because they ice rates. But I sometimes tell my students, imagine you reincarnate as an Asian, right? I tell the Latinos, they're tall, good-looking guys. And then you're like 5'5" or 5'7", and they're like, oh, fuck. You have the same face and everything, but you don't have the same SMB. Then you realize that you cannot do samurai game. So all the students who got laid, all the Latinos, have you noticed that? For my training, they're all like short. They're all like 5'7" and below, every single Latino student. Only one guy who's taller got laid, but he was kicked out and he came back later on. He became an impossible case and he followed the instructions and got laid. But he cannot do it right away because he's not coachable. But yeah, all of the students who gotten laid, most of them are like 5'7" and below. Mark was 5'8", but none of them were above the 5'9" average because they have to be a ninja because they're shorter. But the tall Latinos are always the ones who fail because they're the high value unteachable cases. So when they listen to this tall and strong Asian dating coaches, they always get stuck. Most of them did quit, and I'm talking about during the inflation. They get laid before the pandemic. And for the global game platform scammers, right? When they listen to that shit and fall for it, like UMP and all these other tall, Queefing, Cancel, Casanova, all these other dating coaches, ABC, the low self-esteem Asians, Ross Jeffries, Mystery, when they fall for these platform scammers, they're always going to get stuck. So you need to learn how to take extreme ownership. One very important skill is that no excuses are valid. Unless what I say gets you canceled or get you killed. Oh, it's my liver's gonna have problems. No, it's not. You get too much cortisol for that. So that's why I always say to my students, if it doesn't get you canceled, for my advice, it doesn't get you killed, then shut up and just fucking do it. Just do it. There is no good excuses if it doesn't get you canceled or killed. If it does, then you don't do it. But everything else I tell you is safe and is effective and is proven to work. So for people that already have a double chin and stuff like that, cortisol, their double chin is going to eat away at the ashwagandha, high dosage or not. It's going to suck it up like a sponge. But don't get triggered. If the advice does not get you canceled or killed, right? Then why act butthurt? That's what I'm saying. There are no excuses. So I'm teaching experience. In my teaching experience, I'm not calling all Latino sociopaths or the general population. I'm just talking about some of the bad students or my students in general, pickup artist types, the ones who are more gravitated towards the stuff with multiple mental illnesses. You can always tell a person is a sociopath when they make excuses, like the cackling Kamala concept. They always make an excuse. They're going to shift the blame to me. It's my fault. And then they're going to start laughing like crazy. They're going to start rebuilding their fragile ego, right? By giving themselves a pat on the back, and they'll start doing the cackling stuff. That's going to destroy your ego. No, you have to destroy your ego. So whenever they say, oh, John's making me attack my own ego because the mindset playlist phase number 2. No, you have to attack your own ego because your ego is actually the handbrakes. You must always call yourself out. David Goggins, who's a Navy SEAL, talks about that accountability mirror. He calls himself out in front of the mirror. Like, you're a fat piece of shit, right? And then you're making excuses, right? And stuff like that. He really called himself out. And then number 4, I call them out, right? And then after the cackling part, when I call them out, right? They're like, oh yeah, now I remember it, because they don't have a fucking memory. They're always laughing like Kamala Harris. They're so far left, right? And delusional and crashing out. They don't even know it. Sociopaths, I'm not saying all Latinos, I'm just saying sociopaths for pickup artists are delusional. They don't know it. They're like Charles Manson. They don't know they're crazy. They're batshit crazy. They call me a lunatic. And they have opinions as facts. And everything they think about is all wrong. It doesn't even work. They go in forum groups and they tell people what their ideas are. Their crazy fucking ideas of what might work. It's insane. But they know there's something wrong with them. They know they're different, but they don't know that they're sociopathic. So I have this half Vietnamese, half Chinese student. I also have this from Black students. I get this from every student. Cackling Kamala. It's very common. It is just as good as being diagnosed because only a sociopath will shift blame and then make excuses right away. They just cannot help. That means sociopaths right now during this inflation and tariff are all going to fail. If you are making excuses and you procrastinate, don't take the coaching. I don't need your money. You have zero chance. So I'm sure you sing through everything, right? It's not singing the lessons like another Latino was saying. You know, that worst student of the year, right? Oh, I'm not here to learn singing lessons. Yeah, quit crying. But you want to sing through it, right? Get whitewashed. Because it takes more oxygen to do that. It's clear. It's very choppy what you're saying. You try and stretch out the words, but if you sing through it, right, it just will not sound choppy. You should not talk like this when you're dirty like. What the fuck? You should be singing through everything like this, very slow, and also instead of taking your time, taking your time. And it's better to talk slower. Behavioral game. Yeah, I always knew that there was something wrong with me, right? But you didn't know what it was, right? What was causing it. So watch. The Latino is gonna start typing to me. Watch. He's gonna write an excuse. Watch. Here he's typing right now. So I don't know exactly what he's gonna say. What? He's literally typing right now. Look, he's typing. What's excuse? What's excuse? Shit, he should not. Hopefully he's not watching us on YouTube Live, right? But he's still typing. We're gonna see if he makes a cackling Kamala excuse. Watch, he's gonna blame it on me somehow. Somehow it's gonna be my fault that he did not do it. That I did not tell him the right times or instructions. He's gonna blame me. Watch. You see that? I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna cover his name just to make sure I'm not bullshitting. I'm waiting for him to reply first. The other guy's doing like drills. How many drills? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 drills today. Today. And he's done 16 drills. So the Chinese guy would learn more drills later on, but he's already done 16. He's gonna do over 20 something. The other Latino guy's not gonna start. Watch, he's gonna. I can't wait for your reply. I'm gonna have to send him the cackling Kamala screenshot. So let me just pull it up. You like, well, are Latinos that crazy? They're literally sociopaths. I'm not saying all Latinos in the world are sociopaths, but all the pickup artists are sociopaths. I'm just gonna call it up as soon as I get a reply. Should I send it to him right now, the Kaplan Kamala screenshot? Maybe I'll send it to another student and I can pull it and send it to him quickly. I'm only gonna put this on here because another Latino student is typing back. Most likely he's gonna make an excuse. Right? I'm gonna show you that they do the steps. If I have it over here, then I can forward it to him very quickly when he finished writing. Finish your thought so I can read it. Please be an excuse so I can prove to the people that, sorry. I was sending you a screenshot, right, when he does it. It's kind of like the other half Latino, half white guy. He's always like, oh, John's always screenshotting and stuff, and then showing to me it doesn't mean anything. Because they're sociopaths. They have opinions as facts. They have to win at all costs, so they're going to shoot down all ideas, like an Iron Dome. You don't need to write anything. I'm just going to forward it to him. No, I'm going to actually get rid of all the Latinos. It doesn't matter if they're from the United States or they're from a different country. They all act exactly the same. They're all twins. They all have the same mindset. They're all going to make excuses. They're all going to procrastinate. They're all going to crash out, have meltdowns. It's always the same brain. It's just different countries. So if there's anything you don't understand about your homework, I would send you an audio. It's very clear what you need to do. What do you need to do, right? I'm actually on YouTube Live right now. And I was talking about procrastination at this time. So it's quite a coincidence because I was bringing up the topic that Latinos, right, have a lot of excuses and stuff like that. Procrastinate and a lot of stuff. You should watch the day number 2 afterwards. It's actually pretty good. It's like a field manual on more resilience. I also talked about time management too, right? So I expect your homework to be done by today. I don't want to ban you for like 2 weeks or 3, right? From the time I assigned this assignment, it's already been 3 days or something, or 4 days. It's been dragging out forever. I'm also very uncertain if I should let another person who wants to join, who's also half Latino, right? He can barely even pay for Elite Bundle Resurrections. I'm getting very stressed out. It's like all of them are just acting the same. I'm pretty sure when he joins, even though he talks a good game, he's just probably going to do next to nothing. I'm probably not coming to Miami, right? Besides, Canadians are not really allowed in the United States without being detained. Do your homework assignment. I'm going to get back to YouTube Live. Right. You must see everything, right? Can you go back to it, like, and listen to it as Charles? Remember how I say, like, unteach, like, what's it called? Unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence. You're not reaching that stage. You have to see it as Charles so you can see through your delusions. It's all bad. You're not listening to it. You're just skipping it and doing more, right? You're just reinforcing bad habits. Follow the fucking protocol. Stop fucking around. Anyways, although you can't say like they might say, "Oh, you can't diagnose people or whatever," and I say I technically am a private therapist for mental trauma, so maybe I could. My mental trauma cure program actually works, so I probably know a thing or two about psychology. If other psychologists cannot get rid of your trauma, if they can't get rid of it, then I'm just saying I know what I'm talking about more than the other psychologist. And you can have very observable traits because of the DSM-5, right? The Diagnostic Manual for Mental Illnesses. You can look at the traits, and if it happens for all the other students, right? Then there's a pattern. We talked about this on the first day, the 10 traits of a sociopath. If you have to win at all costs, you don't feel guilt. And you have to tell yourself a BS story that sounds like real at the time. And you have to be delulu or delusional, opinions as facts. Of course, you're going to shift the blame. You must stop shifting the blame. How is it not your fault? Because this is going to go against your inner game. And once you make an excuse, and I use an example, even though you explain this to Latinos, they will shoot down the ideas like an iron dome. I remember every single idea shot down by Latino students. So it's like, no, you should like do this with your hair, use pomade. No, I like my hairstyle. I'm just gonna do it on here. And it's like, no, you should try this workout plan. Look how big the other students are. Another guy was like laughing in front of everyone, declaring, "Hey, I work out a lot. John, give me a workout plan." I was like, what the fuck? My students are twice as big as you. Even I'm bigger than the other guy right now. That guy's no muscles. And it's like, you work out 6 hours a fucking day outside your fucking construction job? Are you serious? You work 6 hours a day? Like fucking, that's like fucking 40 fucking hours or something. Like a fucking week. Like what the fuck? Right? It's like, No, that's 42 hours. Yeah, 42 hours. So it was 42 hours, right? And that's how much you work out. And my students only work out for like fucking 15 minutes with my plan. And they're twice as big. So 42 times 7 days, right? No, that's a week, right? So that's 42 is like 7 days. So 42 times 4. That's 168 hours of working out, but my students are much bigger. That guy's insane, man. That's a Latino. Opinions is facts. The definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. So that's the truth. I'm not saying all Latinos are like that, just the one that pick up artists. The haters, the angry people, they don't do any work and they're always crashing out and they're always dismissing. So if I'm driving in the steering wheel, right, on the side for you, and I say press the gas and they press the gas, but then they just fucking stop and they pull the handbrakes, making an excuse, they'll never get anywhere. Or they'll do it their way. They'll grab the steering wheel, right? Or you say turn left on the next street. They'll turn right, crash into a car next to them, and then they'll turn left. That's a Latino. They have to do it their way. They have to shit into the recipe so they can feel some ownership. They don't like being told what to do. And then they make an excuse and they pull the handbrake again. It's like, oh, fuck. Now we have to wait another day, right? Because you made an excuse. And then they disappear for another fucking week. What kind of dysfunctional behavior is that? It's not even functional. It's like they can barely do their jobs. Latinos work super hard. They're not lazy. In their job, they work like crazy. But they stress themselves out because they don't like their job. They have to do it when they work in their job. Then they're so occupied. And when they try to do a second thing, they can't do it because they're occupied by their job because they have no time management skills. And then when they do a second thing, right, they're so ADHD, they don't enjoy the second thing. They have a hyper-focused ADHD because this hyper-focus, they can only do the first thing. The second thing, they'll be like, it's not enjoyable, so I'm going to dismiss it. And then they're going to procrastinate. So a few bad apples, right, who basically shoots down all ideas. So excuses are not a good, because I remember a Navy SEALs commander called Jocko Willings. He wrote a book called Extreme Ownership, okay? His units were shooting at each other, and it's called friendly fire. Like, they didn't know they were actually shooting at their own troops, right? Navy SEALs versus Army or some shit like that. Who knows? Some unit. Give a thumbs up for that. And then the generals and Joint Chief of Staff was like, they summoned him and it's like, hey, what the fuck is going on, right? I heard your army is like shooting at the Navy SEALs and vice versa. Of course, all of the other army people raise their hand and says, it's not his fault. It's my fault because I fucked up with this thing. Next guy was like, no, it's not his fault. It was this, you should get rid of me. No, it's not his fault. It's my fault. And then all of a sudden, everyone kept saying that. And then everyone's confused for the Joint Chief of Staff. So the commander, Jocko Willings, says, listen, there's only one person that can be blamed in this situation. They're like, the Joint Chiefs are like, who is it? And he said, that person is me. So he's not like Joe Biden, right? Where he's always shifting the blame to Trump. Because he never blamed themselves. Sociopaths never blame themselves. You ever notice far left politicians? It's never their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. But Jocko blamed himself. He took 100% responsibility. And instead of like, he didn't act like being woke. He didn't shift the blame. And he says that if they let him continue being a commander, they promise they'll put procedures in place so this will never happen again. He talked about all the steps that he's going to take. And then the Joint Chief of Staff are expecting him to be like a Latino and just shifting the blame. But you know what happened? He didn't shift the blame. They look at each other and they looked at him and they said this, all right, you make sure this never happens again. You can continue, right? But you better put the steps in place. He said, yes, sir, I'll make sure it never happen again. And he retained his spot as a commander because he took extreme ownership. Rather than a Latino blaming Johnny Elite, saying, well, take some ownership. The program works because you can't do the drills because you're lazy, because you're hyper-focused ADHD, plus Asperger's. because you have a narrow focus. It makes it hard to learn new things. Why blame it on me? Plus the fucking inflation. These guys making so little money, they can barely afford elite bundle resurrections. Come on now. So my Negro, you're back. I have no idea how it got here. Yeah. What's up? For shizzle, my nizzle. So basically, and then instead of shifting the blame, and then it says, if you let him, he'll continue. And that's what happened. Always take extreme ownership. Everything that happens in your life is your fault, no matter what. Give it a thumbs up. Good for the algorithms. I mean, if you don't take extreme ownership, you're gonna be like a far left lunatic. They never take ownership. So I think that's very important for the Latino students. Most of them will shift the blame on me. But my good students, you know, they learn they're not allowed to make excuses. This half white, half Latino guy, he just kept stacking how many accomplishments that he would made, right? And kept making excuses. And regular accomplishment, like, oh, I got a girlfriend. You're supposed to, motherfucker. Oh, I got it from Tinder and Night Game. It's like, well, you're supposed to. You're Latino. So I got a world record in this. It's like, that's how he talks. Like, he sounds like a whiny bitch. Well, that's the thing. I'm not saying it's Asperger's, but if you have narrow focus, it gives you more cortisol. I'm not saying that about him or anybody. I'm just speculating. But I'm just saying. And you get stuck, right? And that's hard to learn a second thing. Making excuses is just going to be like more of a loser. Shifting the blame, because when you shift the blame, you can actually change and you pat yourself in the back. You're like rebuilding your massive ego, right? To protect yourself because you're fragile, low self-esteem. The higher the ego, the lower self-esteem. The more delusions, half-assing it, the wrong path, the sociopath, your decision in 4 months blows up in your face, and then you quit. You must reduce or eliminate all excuses because as soon as you make an excuse, you pull the handbrake, you won't accomplish anything. Remember, anything I tell you to do, if it doesn't get you killed or get you canceled, then you fucking do it. My other good students, they don't make any excuses. They are usually, they blame themselves and this pisses them off. Right? But it'll piss off the hater because they're so perfect. If you're so perfect, right, in your mind, then why are you guys so fucking broke as a joke? They're super broke and they are super woke and they're broke as a joke and woke. Right? That rhymes because ADHD, bad mindsets, unfocused. And they're like, oh, John called me fucking talking about ADHD. You are fucking ADHD. I mean, talk about a guy that cannot focus for shit. Oh, I can do my job. You can't do anything outside your fucking job. Shut the fuck up. Seriously. Stop crying. It's like crybaby. I'm giving you guys all the tools for free here. I should be teaching my students this. Those who pays attention. I could have taught this in the inner circle class, and guess what? They'll all do that for elite access. I might reteach it, or I might start making the students do all this stuff. You guys got it for free. I'll update the tools for the other students. So don't make any excuses. Excuses are poison and bad. I don't tolerate excuses. And I always send them the screenshot, the cackling Kamala. Those Latino guys always dismiss the screenshots. Oh, Joseph, no screenshots. That's how they sound like. No, I don't read that right. And then they make an excuse. They're like total fucking losers. They're delusional. They cannot accept responsibility because they don't want to admit they're wrong. And they're like, oh, this not agree with that. Well, your life is a fucking mess. Look at my students getting laid that are Latinos. What's your excuse? Why can they do it and you can't? Because you're a lazy samurai SMVing it, swinging your big game sword. It doesn't work anymore. Oh, yeah, the other coaches are great. I learned some of their stuff and I compared it. I saw John's stuff is different. It's not as good. They're fucking samurai stuff. They don't get fucking late testimonials, you dumb fucking idiot. See, I'm black. Will you train my sensei, or are we banned too? No. Like black people are 100% welcome. I have lots of black students. So one of my black students had 100 lays with my coaching. So that's good. Lots of black students have like a lot of lays, like 25, 30 lays, something like that. Multiple girlfriends, multiple fuck buddies. So if you don't have approach anxiety, I would like to train you. I just don't want to train like future Latino unteachable cases. I don't want to train unteachable cases. But if they're all happen to be Latino this year, right? Then maybe I don't want to train them. Or they have to sign a contract, a commitment contract, just the Latinos. It's not discrimination. It's the patterns, behavior, not race. So yeah, you feel free to just train with me. Look at the pinned comment. This elite bundle resurrections. Just join this one, right? I didn't have as many views on my sales letter because everyone's broke from the tariff. Like, oh, my butt hurts, I'm crying. It's always an excuse. It's never your fault. So you got to accept everything's your fault. And everything that happens in your life, you must take full responsibility for it. Then you can make changes. Then you can adapt, be changeable. Okay, and the last thing I want to say, right, before I go, is that you must understand how to accept the situation. This is my best tip, okay? So when my students, they do it, they always feel like better temporarily. This is what you do, right? So are you guys ready to do this? The pad of paper, whatever the fuck, you can write down something, right? That's stressing you out. You might write like, on this piece of paper. This is a hypothetical here. The tariff or something is stressing me out. It has been implemented, right? You say out loud, you write out loud, get it? And then afterwards you say this, but I accept the situation. If you don't accept it, it feels like 7 people are tackling you. So who are the 7 people who are tackling you? 7 feelings. That's what it feels like for Latinos. They're always stressed out by money. That's why they need St. John's wort. They're always depressed looking. They have allisthemia. They always have that frown. But how do you accept it? So 7 stages of grief. So what is it? Number 1, when something like that tariff, you're going to be bench holding and triggered. Then you'll be in denial. Number 1. Oh no, there's no tariff. Everything's fine. Then you'll start to be angry. Oh, why did Donald Trump do that? Then you start to bargain. Oh, maybe I could do something about it, right? Maybe I can move more money to crypto. And then you start having a depression. That's where Latinos are stuck at. And then acceptance. This is not the right 7 stages. What the fuck? Let me find the right fucking 7 stages. Denial, guilt or pain and guilt, anger, bargaining, depression, upward turn, reconstruction. These people are writing their own shit. Okay, here's the real one. Shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, testing, acceptance. That's the right one. Shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, testing, acceptance. So what's the 7th one? The last one. Acceptance. So if you can get to acceptance, then you don't have to waste time bench holding on the other 6, which is mentally making you crash out by the inflation. If you accept it and you write it over there, like for example, let's say I'm Latino. I said, oh, I'm so broke, I cannot afford John Elite's elite bundle resurrections. But I accept the situation. You say out loud, and your brain is like, oh, okay, I accept the situation. Then they stop bench holding. Those 7 traits does not tackle you. I did that with Latino students. And they're like, oh yeah, I feel so much better now, right? And then they get triggered again. It might be like 3 minutes from now, you get triggered. Oh no, I cannot afford to buy dinner or something like that, right? Because I'm broke as a joke. You write that down. And then you say, I accept it. Of course I can afford dinner. But for them, they can't. And then you had to say out loud. So you get to the 7th stage. So what about the Indians? Are they back on your good side or are they still bench holding? Well, yeah, Indian got laid and got a white girlfriend. So they got back on my good side. But another Indian student who joined is doing next to nothing. That guy is bench holding so hard with ADHD, right? He's disappearing like crazy and getting depressed. So they're still like that. But another guy, he got a photographic memory. He remembered everything from Elite Tonality Mastery course, the new one for Elite Bundle Resurrection. And then all of a sudden, boom, he got like a white girl. So in London. So whenever a bad situation happens, right? This is called the Maslow chart of human needs. So on the bottom of the chart, see, the Joe Rogan told, okay, the whitewash tonality has to be a lot better. This sucks. You just evenly go up and down. So basically on the bottom of the chart, right? So what's the Maslow chart of human needs? So the first chart is 7 stages of grief. So what's number 2? Maslow. MASLOW, Maslow chart of human needs. So here's the chart. You see it? It's like a triangle, right? On the very bottom, it says physiological needs: air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction. It should also say sex. So this one's not actually like accurate. I'm sure there's a better chart, but the next one's safety needs above it. Personal security, employment, resources, health, and property. So some of you don't have this. So you're bench holding. Unless you're thriving, right? Not just surviving. If you're survival mode, you always have the 7 stages of grief, and then you always bench hold, and you start to like lose your fucking mind. That's the thing. If you don't meet your basic human needs, being in debt. And this usually happens with Latinos because a lot of them are massive frowns from alexithymia. It's almost like they have this another zombie growing within them on their face. And we want to be accurate. We're not saying that like bad things, but we're just saying that 51% of Latinos in the United States are in poverty, and 54% of Black people are in poverty, according to the United States statistics. So you can see a comparison. But I'm not sure if that changed now with all the migrants and stuff like that, the illegal aliens. So it's very common for a Latino, right? You rarely see a lot of successful Latinos. I could only count like less than a handful of Latinos that are 7 figures. Most of them are broke or living paycheck to paycheck, massive debt. Every single one of them that I know from students, because that's the way they think. They always get stuck and they always gain weight and they always get stuck. And the more broke you are, that's why I should raise the price of Elite Bundle Resurrections. Yeah, I should raise it after August or something, so Latinos cannot get it. I should not say that a lot. The more, yeah, let's make it 1,200, right? And on the challenges, there'll be $1,000. Okay, the more of that, yeah, the more broke you are, the worse it is. So if you want to make sure that you're not broke as a joke, then whatever you get into that state, you want to go through the 7 stages of grief, right? Shock. Gotta be careful because the tariff does not put you in that will put you in shock, right? Or the low job numbers or anything like that. You don't want it to be like that. And then you'll be in denial, then you'll be angry, then you bargain all the way, and then you get depressed, and then you get stuck. And then you start testing, trying new ways to cope. And lastly, you accept it. Everything will be fine. And you're coming to terms with the loss and you're moving forward. So if you know that there are 7 stages and you're going to go through it and you're going to take a long time, you might as well just fucking go to the last stage, right? Write it down. Oh no, okay. Oh no, John's gonna raise the price of Elite Bundle Resurrections, right? I can't pay for it with my food stamps anymore. And then I accept the situation. You get it? And then you're fine again. You're like, oh, okay. But this has to be a habit. When I teach the Latinos, they get better. They feel like, oh yeah, I feel so much better. Next day, they forget everything. Unbelievable. So every single time you get triggered by something like a thought, write down your WhatsApp, write down on your piece of paper, and delete the stuff later for the WhatsApp. But every time you have a thought like that, economy, whatever, I accept the situation. Say out loud, I accept it. You got to declare it. This is a situation I don't like. I accept it. So does that make sense, guys? It's important that you continuously accept it. Otherwise, you're going to be in shock and bench on it. Maslow chart of human needs, right? Latinos, right? The whole life is a dumpster fire. So security and employment is the second thing. You guys don't have it. So you feel like you're not secure, you're always going to be stuck in the bottom category. So how many times do you have to accept? Do you have to keep accepting or keep popping up? When I do this with the Latino students, right? Because they're always broke, I exclusively do that with Latino students. I say, accept the situation. They always feel better. So you can always take like St. John's wort, right? I always leave some breadcrumbs behind. If you take St. John's wort supplement, you will feel a lot better. You'll be not depressed. So That's why I recommend. That's why you don't see me depressed ever, because I do take it if I ever need it. I keep going like an Energizer Bunny. That's the power of St. John's wort. It's just a flower, it's like a plant. It's not giving you any side effects. Because some students are so fucking depressed, right? Their brain needs that. There's like no side effects for people that are zombies. But if they're normal people, they might have it. But for most people that are zombies, they don't have side effects because their brain is such deficient in these things like serotonin. They need every drop they can get. So they take it. All the Latinos right now are taking it because they have massive frown. 21-year-old student, the biggest frown ever. And he got St. John's wort today. Marco just got it like the other day. So when you look at the mugshots of all the ICE raids, the Latinos, they're always frowning. And if you think like other ethnicity are doing the same thing because they're captured, no, only the Latinos have the frown. The other ones have no frown. The left hand does not know what the right hand does, just like the face for alexithymia, emotional blindness. But it does show up in your face. You might as well be mildly depressed and you don't know it. And your voice might sound angry or depressed, but you don't know it. Like the other Latino, half white, half Latino guy, he'll dismiss it. Oh no, that sounds good. And he sounds like, excuse me, real quick. That's how he sounds like to women. He sounds like he's talking like Satan. Excuse me. It's like, well, calm down, Satan. And he's like, I don't know, I can hear that. Everyone else is saying it's not like that. It's like, shut up, quit trying. Like, you sound like that. And not to get another student to phone him and tell him, dude, you sound kind of angry, but you cannot hear it. Doesn't mean it's not true. Oh, no. Then he starts dismissing the other guy. He'd be like, oh, yeah, the other guys are probably his minions or something. No, he's just fucking telling the truth. I don't know what the other guy, it's such in denial. That guy's like fucking Charles. He's like a crybaby Charles Manson. And that's the thing. Oh, I don't get this at all. But yeah, basically, I'm just saying, dude, you're very depressed and you don't know it, and you're very angry. No, you can get all this stuff from supplements and food, right? Dude, you're a fucking vegan, right? Like, there's like 4 minerals in vegetables. How can you get this? And they get very angry with fight, flight, and freeze response, right? When they're speaking in their fight mode, they're gonna sound angry. When they run out of oxygen. But that's how I want to end it for day 2. Your biggest objection is that, oh, the economy and all these inner game issues. Well, now you have no fucking excuses. And if you don't watch this video again and take notes and turn it into your own course to teach yourself, you're fucked. You're ignoring the Navy SEALs. You're ignoring all of these techniques that can save your life. I'm not affected by the tariff. I don't give a shit, to be honest. I couldn't give 2 fucks about it. It's, oh, economy. Oh, shut up, man. Like, quit your bitching. Who gives a shit? Nothing's happened so far. Who gives a fuck? And don't turn MGTOW, because that's like a 10-year sentence. You'll MGTOW and then you'll come back in 10 years. And your neural pathways are all shit. So don't do that. You want to take on this problem head on with my coaching. Get elite bundle resurrections, and if you can afford it, 3MP bundle. That has every single course in it, online coaching, excluding the boot camp, and all for $5,000. You can always upgrade in the future. Take elite bundle resurrections and then pay the difference, right? Like $1,000 off, and then pay 4,000 later if you want. It doesn't matter how many programs that this guy would take, right? He will never get laid during this inflation. That half white, half Latino student who's crying all the time. He can take the tall, self-proclaimed highly account guy and take their stupid like AI shit. Nothing's gonna fucking happen. Seriously, he won't get laid. So a samurai game, that's what he's thinking all the time, is never gonna work now. Sure, they might have a few testimonials for Daygame like this year, but they're super popular. It's like such a small percentage. The whole year, they only got like 2. What a joke. And they have tons of students. I don't have as many students. And I have a small YouTube channel. It's like 1,000 something subscribers versus theirs, like way more. But I have to convert the ones who can get laid. And there's a lot of unteachable cases this year, which is strange. The whole idea is, oh, I only teach good students more, right? No, the bad students are running away. Like you see, homework assignments, stonewalling is actually their fault, not mine. They're physically running away. So you have to ban them. Otherwise, they're going to keep running. But banning them does not mean kicking them out. Just weigh out your ban and learn from it and don't do it again. It's like training a puppy or something. You're like Caesar Milan, right? From the Dog Whisperer. I know it sounds awful, but you have to kind of have a punishment or rewards. So yeah, it's all ninja game and all ninja resilience now. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed day number 2. Inner game issues are all bullshit. It all can be fixed here. You have no more excuses. I've given you like actual coaching. If you did not learn anything, you did not implement anything, then you're not coachable. You're an unteachable case. So, like I said, I didn't teach my inner circle this stuff yet. I only kicked out one person this year. So don't be a complete toxic waste piece of shit. It's not like I kick everyone out. So yeah, that's all I want to say. I don't have anything else to say. I'm just rambling on. That's all for today. We're going to continue tomorrow. Let's see what's the last message. Is Jordan Peterson back in your show? What do you mean? Like Jordan Peterson? The way he talks and stuff like that? Let's see if I can do his impression anymore, because that's the way he talks. And the problem is with the people that are on the far left, they are always like triggered because they're dark tetrad personality. That's why they're sadistic people. They're very hateful people. They are like all the time irrational and what they call crashing out. So that's the thing. They use their platform, their wokeness, to control and dominate other people. It's a Machiavellian issue because dark tetrad, that's a sadism with sociopath and narcissistic personality disorder, and also Machiavellian manipulation. So, yeah. Anyways, another show. See you guys tomorrow. We're going to talk about the external issues. We talk about internal. You have no more excuses. If you keep bench holding, right? It's not my fault. Don't blame me. Don't punish me because you're incompetent. You cannot punish the competent. Anyways. End.